Wake up, gamers, cause you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Donde está the president's daughter?
Bingo.
Chris Wolfhart.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
And Dr. Aggro.
All of my dialogue for this episode has been written by AI.
Here on GigaBoots. One day he's going to figure out how to actually do that to us, and it is going to be messed up.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just going to be sitting here looking at a real-time generated script, sweating, launching toward that cliff.
Edgar, don't say it. I know it. It printed out, but do not say it.
We know ChatGPT said it, but don't you fucking read it.
No, look, there are certain circumstances where it's okay to say it. Like if a computer told me to.
Let me be clear, I don't even care what you're saying. That is the least acceptable time to say a thing and the least acceptable reason to say a thing. The computer overlords demanded it, so I'm gonna say it. Let's see. Hey, everything looks correct. That's awesome. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome to Big Think Dimension number 214. Whew. We sure do a lot of these. Anyways, this week we're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. We've got the demo for Sea Smash that I didn't get to play.
Ooh.
Resident Evil 4 Remake, which is out, so I don't get to play it yet. We had those great Resident Evil 4 animated cartoons, the commercials. Those were incredible.
Quite something.
I think that's their best marketing campaign.
Probably.
I can't think of a better one, honestly. It's just like, no, they get what the tone is and how to pitch that and swivel it directly into another form of comedy. I say another because Leon S. Kennedy is the funniest man alive.
As we all know.
I saw that image going around where it's just like, why didn't he shoot the bad guy here? And the person just responds, he still had more corny one-liners he needed to say. I'm like, oh, that's true. That is why he didn't shoot him there. Because I remember even on our playthrough, I'm like, what are you doing, man?
At the same time, it's like, what would it do? It's a Resident Evil villain. It's going to take 300 bullets.
That's true. He should have shot him a few times and then gotten a vehicle to run over him a few times.
Right?
That's true. That's true. Anyways, we have some games to talk about. We've got the state of Unreal to talk about later. We've got Faces and whether or not they are unreal to talk about later. But at first, we got to be...
That's what's called Metaface, right?
Yeah, Epic showed off their new Metaface technology. This face is so meta. It's really a part of the meta right now, blonde white woman. One day
Which lead characters that?
How do you counterpick for blonde white woman?
Oh, shit. I don't know the proper counterpick for that. You know what? I'm just going to poll all my local Publixes and see what their customer service department thinks.
Another blonde white woman.
A blonder white woman.
This is a stale meta.
It is. It is pretty flat across the board. Very unexciting, doesn't go anywhere new. But anyways, we're here to talk about video games we've been playing, such as the hot new game, Super Mario 64 DS. Jesus. A game that is going on 19 years old.
Not retro, though. The DS isn't old.
I mean, those are still pretty new, right? The PS2 and DS.
Yeah. The PS3's not retro because let me spin the wheel of excuses. Let me spin the wheel of cope.
Is he going to say accessibility because someone else landed on that this week?
First of all, how's the PS3 any more accessible than any other retro console now? You can't go to a store and get one. It's exactly as accessible as a fucking Super Nintendo.
Nothing is more
possibly
humbling.
less because there's no hardware clones or FPGA consoles.
That's true. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Or easily accessible emulators.
I mean, I wouldn't like. We have multiple PS3s we can hook up and use at any point in time, and I wouldn't say it's accessible. Would you?
No.
It genuinely feels humbling to use a PS3.
But let's see. The most common cope I got was games haven't changed since 7th gen, to which I respond, are you fucking blind?
Yeah, see, that's weird because we can even look as far back as Ocarina of Time and see a lot of the evolution of 3D games comes from that. And no one in their right mind would be like, the N64 is it retro?
Right?
But like 7th gen, like 6 to 12 hour linear experiences that probably have a lot of set pieces.
And
And
probably
maybe
sunk a
don't have-
studio.
And probably Sunk a Studio maybe don't have great core mechanics, probably run bad. 8th gen, it's open world.
Yeah, literally everything has to be an open world in 8th gen. It's to the point.
Destiny.
Luckily, most studios just spent that gen killing themselves trying to make a Destiny. Not too many actually shipped their Destiny likes. It really was just Marvel got that game, The Avengers, right?
Mhm.
And then, what was it? People Can Fly. What's their version?
Outriders.
Outrider.
And then, as that gen ended and we started the new one, finally Gotham Knights comes out. And soon, allegedly, the other one
Suicide
comes out.
Squad. Well,
So-
then there was also Godfall. Godfall also wanted to be Destiny.
Yeah, Godfall had a lot of ambition.
The great thing is, like, at some level, I enjoyed Godfall more than countless other Destiny likes. Like, we played Babylon's Fall. I wish Babylon's Fall, like, I wish it was a little closer to Godfall in control things in other areas. But
Yeah, even content, honestly.
to some extent, it was really weird when Babylon's Fall started having real levels.
Yeah.
That was really strange. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yes.
We're getting off topic, he said, as the thing above him says, current topic, opening. This is an opening topic. What is this? We got to change this. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Super Mario 64 DS is a game that came out over 18 years ago.
Yep.
In it, it is Super Mario 64, but there are 3 additional characters to play as, and 2 excruciating stars to get in every level that you unlock the characters in. Some things are moved around. A tall mountain star is changed specifically to spite me. A Big Boo's haunt star is changed specifically to spite me in the most fucking weird way. Right? Let me tell a story real quick. One time I went to a buffet, and it was a family dinner. This was a long time ago.
Right, okay.
My grandmother, like, there were some cookies in the middle of the table. So I go to grab a cookie, and then my grandma, she has this look on her face of like, oh, I was going to grab that, and I didn't see her move for it at all. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. You have it. Like, I can go get some. She's like, no, you have it. I'm like, I don't care that much. I could just go get a cookie. It's okay. Anyway, I kneel. She's my elder. So I eat the cookie. Later, she's like, Daniel stole a cookie from me. That is what the Big Boo's hot star feels like, because there's one area you could do a cool jump and get the star instead of running through one whole room and hitting 3 buttons in an order. They were like, nah, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do the cool jump. Run through the hallway that pelts you with books to hit the middle thing, then the right thing, then the left thing. What? So that's the content. And so far, I've only been talking about the content, right? But Super Mario 64 is a game that is like one of the earliest 3D platformers, and feel-wise, it came really close to just completely nailing it. Like, the camera's busted and sucks, but the game feel of Mario 64 was pretty on spot for then. This is a nightmare version of it where you have to control a 3D platformer where the full analog movement is fully accounted for, and the move set and various other aspects of it, you have to do that on a D-pad now. And if you want to go forward and slightly to the left, you need to start moving forward, then hit left to steer him almost like he's Croc. It is really bizarre, and I don't know many people who have seen their favorite video game of all time turned into some twisted version of itself like this was for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. It's like I popped up in the chat to say it. It's like you are playing a version of Mario 64 from your own personal ironic hell, because it's just like they turned it into Banjo-Tooie.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like, for this star, you must be Wario alone.
Well, it's even more fucked up than that, because we hit some stars at a certain point where it's like, you need to be this character and then change to this character and then change to this character in order to get the star.
Ugh.
It is really insane. However, something you find out through that stream and later looking up numbers is allegedly Super Mario 64 DS sold almost or slightly about as well as Mario 64 originally did. So for a lot of people, because it was cheaper and it was on a portable and it's later, so a younger generation gets that.
Yeah.
That is their Mario 64. To which I say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If it had an analog stick, I could begin to contend with, well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of movements. There's a move. There are about 5 or 6 types of jump in Mario 64, and they're all good at doing different things for you, the player. One of them is a very iconic jump. It's the triangle jump. You know, you run one way, you run the other way, and then you jump. That is virtually impossible to do well on Mario 64 DS. And more importantly, you can't do that as Yoshi. Like, Yoshi only has some of Mario's jumps.
I thought he could do that, but just couldn't wall jump.
Okay, he can't wall jump, but he can triangle.
I think he can triangle
sure?
jump. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty
But he
sure.
has a limited jump set compared to Mario.
Yes.
So this game, where it's really about, we gave you all these different types of movement. You need to use these well. They made the core character you start as hack down movement set wise, which is
What?
truly bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just put characters in a Okay.
You have to start as Yoshi.
Yeah, you
What
don't even
the
get to start
fuck?
Mario is Yoshi, or is Mario.
We made a joke the whole game that it was Yoshi's game, because chat's like, it's his game. You started as him. I'm like,
I mean, they're not wrong.
they're not.
No.
But why isn't it called Super Yoshi 64 DS?
Also, it's
nobody
encouraged
would've
to
Then
bought
no
it.
one would buy it.
Yes.
Both of them show up with the bags.
You are encouraged to play as Yoshi
Yes.
because he's the only one who can start a stage and select which character to start as.
Yeah, because, you know, you have these characters, and there's one room in the entire castle where you can change a character. Except for, if you start a level as Yoshi, he has the 3 hats, because the hats change you into the other characters. Once you unlock them, you can enter any level as the other 3 characters. And those 3 characters are Mario, Luigi, and Wario. So it kind of behooves you to choose Yoshi, and then select the hat for the character that best suits the star you're going for. Because they change almost every star to shift it. So that way, we change this element of, oh, you want that, Cap? Is that really, oh, you want that? Okay, fun fact, only Wario can be metal now. A bunch of things like that. So it kind of makes sense to stick with Yoshi, to then just change to who's best for what star, which is insane. What an insane game they
I mean,
made.
anything that can get Mario 64 closer to the all-time classic Donkey Kong 64 has got to be a marked improvement, right?
It truly is Donkey Kong 64. I really didn't expect the Banjo-Tooie twist that Chris was talking about, though, with the multiple stars requiring, you must be this one, then change to this one. I will only give this to Wario. Like,
How many times we do like 6 of 8 coins, 8 right coins? We get we get all 7, and then the last one is under a Wario block or something to that effect of like, oh, it's impossible.
yeah,
Good thing I did all this.
we didn't unlock Wario at that point. This stream is very funny, though, because it's probably the weirdest playthrough Mario 64 DS on the internet. Because Eric would not go to Big Boo's haunt, so we never unlocked Luigi.
Yeah.
We got most of the way through that game before I finally go, give me the fucking controller, and we go to Big Boo's haunt. And it's like, oh, look, Luigi's in the haunted castle. Who would have thought? It was really good.
You know, you always, like, Eric is very open about not liking scary things.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think, like, if he hears an accordion, he just starts getting the shakes.
He goes to a folksy wedding and just is in shambles. What's that? Yeah, see, the underwater phobia I expected, because Eric also doesn't like being underwater. And let's be real, that Mario 64 eel is creepy. I get it. You know, if you're already on edge about that stuff, you don't want to come eye to eye with that guy. I didn't expect Big Boots on either. That was some shit. But Eric, you know, he informed us later in that very stream that it's our fault we didn't wrestle the controller away from him in that moment of weakness. So I guess that's the MO going forward, is we literally have to go, oh, he's doing it again.
Eric is trying to extend our playtime by hours after he leaves. We need to stop him now.
Yeah, which I should know. For people who don't know, this is 100% playthrough. We did all 150 stars, which, you know, we finished it over twice as fast as the how long to beat estimate of like 28 hours, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Super Mario 64 whisperer, and allegedly 120 of those stars are from the original. No, they aren't.
They are not.
I find some of the stuff they did really clever. There were some things that were really like, you can tell someone pondered Mario 64 for about 8 years there and went, that's just fucking stupid. Can we replace this with a real star?
Yeah, so they got some of the touch the hole stars.
Yeah, they took out all of Bowser's secret hole stars, which is what we started calling it in the middle of the stream. Oh, man. For example, for people who don't know, and I'm going to fuck up the names. I always do. I've never, ever tried to remember the names of levels in Mario 64. That requires reading. So, Little Big Island.
Yeah, Little Big Planet, right.
Yeah, Little Big Planet.
I think it's just Little Big Land. I think that's all it is.
I'm pretty sure that's right because it's LBL, I think. Anyways, they're tiny holes when you're in the big mode. When you're a big man, you can find the secret holes. The secret holes give you one of 5 hidden secrets, and you touch them, and they're just random spots all over the map. They change it so that way that's a completely different star in 64 DS, and I'm like, that's smart. This is a real, we needed a 7th star for this level star.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. People are saying some name in chat. I don't trust them. I don't care that one of them's called Metal Paper Mario. Probably doesn't know. Probably making it up. Anyway. Yeah, there's like, how do I describe this? How do I It's like a sandwich. Okay? Imagine a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you've seen the kind I make, where it's a very thick amount of peanut butter.
Yes.
Okay, so the jelly is like sliver thin, and that's the really like good ideas, improvements, neat things in this version of this game. And the peanut butter, peanut butter is infamous for keeping well, right? Like, it is a great Depression era food because it just keeps.
Yeah.
So imagine rotten peanut butter. Because or stale peanut butter were it a thing, because you're playing Super Mario 64 on a D-pad and it's horrible. And then the bread is just moldy. And that's the new Banjo-Tooie elements. That's the DK64 seeping in. And that's what Super Mario 64 DS is. I will eventually play the joystick mod.
Mm-hmm.
But listen here, every single motherfucker who uses that as a defense for this game, that's not the game. That is a ROM hack. That might be an enjoyable way to play it, though. So, you know, it's like a my ass win. I don't know why everyone complains about N64 games running poorly. I'm playing Mario 64 on my PC and it runs fine. And I'm playing the D-Cop.
Right.
Like, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't recommend anyone plays this version. It's just a downgrade in every way. It's one of those things like only play it if you're incredibly curious.
Yeah, there's the bizarre curiosity. And then there's you grew up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those are the two main reasons to play this version over the other one.
Also, they update Bowser's model. It's just weird having like regular Bowser.
He looks like Mario 60 or Mario Party Bowser, and it's weird, and it's
man,
and it's like strange to deal with that. But then when you get to the third Bowser fight, they didn't change it. You know, he's supposed to look weird and crazy. He's supposed to be like full of weird dark energy or green energy. But instead, it's just the same model a third time, and I got upset.
Yeah, I always assumed it was just supposed to be like that room is lit really cool.
Yeah.
Like that was the idea, not necessarily that he was a monster, a weird monster, but he had a cool looking room.
It's really weird to only do it to him if that's the case. Like they probably should have done it to Mario too, but
right.
But either way, it's a different model and it looked cool.
Yes, and it didn't. Instead, they did nothing.
Yeah. And I get the DS doesn't have a lot of space. Like you can look at the paintings and be like, "Oh boy, they tried." These are some really small textures. Mario 64 DS sure is a game. You know, when the two portables were coming out, the DS and the PSP, you would think the one that had Mario 64 on it would have been the one I got at launch. But I got to play it, and then I went, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, I think you know immediately that the jig is up when you boot the game and you're Yoshi and can move in 8 directions.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a knock the wind out of me moment. When I played
god,
that
the MIPS.
Oh god,
The what?
So MIPS is the name of the processor architecture that they use in many products, but also the N64. The N64. So they named the bunny in Mario 64 MIPS after the processor architecture for the CPU in the N64. So in Mario 64, there are 2 different like stars you can get from MIPS, the rabbit who's in the basement. One when you first get there, and a second one when you get 50 stars. Now then, in this version, MIPS gives out mini games. In this version, there are like MIPS at random spots in the castle and the courtyard for each character. So you need to walk on every inch of this game as each of the 4 characters and catch all of the MIPSes so you can get the mini games. And this is bad enough. But to get one of the last stars in the game, you have to RNG roll a shiny white rabbit, which was so rare, we beat the whole game, got all the way to 148 stars, and it still only did it once at the very end. And just one of the rabbits in the room we ran into was a shiny white rabbit. And we're like, "Oh, we got it." And then chat's like, "Okay. See how he said there are 7 more of him? Do it 7 more times." And I'm like, "What do you mean do it 7 more times?" They're like, "Keep rolling the RNG on these bunny rabbits until you can find 7 more." So we just keep going in and out of the front door of the castle because there are 3 that you can see. And eventually, after doing this long enough, we've rolled pretty decent luck, I guess.
Yeah, it only took us like 30 minutes or so to get all the MIPS.
And then they give us a key. And this key unlocks a cool door in the room. See, in the room where you change to the 3 characters, there's a 4th door that's not labeled. There's the door to the next room, the door you came from, 2 doors on the left, that's Mario and Luigi. And then on the right, there's Wario and the mystery door. And we spent the whole game being like, is Peach going to be behind it? What's going to be behind this mystery door? Maybe it's another like little like mini game thing. We open it, it plays a bunch of goofy sound effects, and Mario comes out with a star.
Just one.
Why did you give me a key to get
Yeah, why didn't you just give us a star?
Because they made that door. And something had to be done.
It feels like there was something caught. Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the only thing it could be. That would the only way that is excusable at all.
I mean, it's a launch title, so you absolutely expect that some things were cut. Some things were changed. Which, you know, people were talking about at E3. The game was aimed at being a multiplayer cooperative experience, not just the weird versus thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So this thing apparently changed a bit over development of what the idea... What is it? Wasn't it called Super Mario 64 by 4? This is 4-player.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot with this, apparently, allegedly. Anyway, I'm done talking about it. I am done talking about Mario 64 DS.
I gotta say one more thing about it.
Go ahead.
You know how in Mario 64 you get 120 stars and like cool stuff happens? So you get to see Yoshi on top of the castle. You get the cool triple jump.
And you get 100 lives.
Yeah, and you get 100 lives. What if I told you got nothing for getting 150 stars?
Is there nothing up there?
There is
There's
nothing
nothing.
up there.
There are two 1-ups sitting on the ground up there and a wing cap, so that way you can go fuck yourself because they changed the geometry of the castle so you couldn't run up it. Because the whole point of the wing cap to me as a kid is that if you were very careful, you could fly up the castle.
Mm-hmm.
But they intentionally changed the geometry so you couldn't.
Yeah, and then you get one mini game up there. And that's it. And it was slots, wasn't it? Yeah, it was slots with the Mario 1 theme.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really upsetting to do all that and then be rewarded with literally nothing.
Anyway, I'm done talking about it. I'm glad I 100%ed it. I don't foresee myself playing it ever again past me just checking out the analog mod that everyone and their mom needed to go out of their way to tell me, like, you're not playing the real game. Play this fake game. So, hey, Bob.
Hey.
Man, can we transition to not immediately talking about Diablo 4?
I played a few things. If you want me to talk about either of those.
Yes, please.
I got to play the Exoprimal beta that was going on last weekend.
Ooh.
I did not play that much of it because, you know, other demos came out. And I kind of forgot this one was going at the same time. But I did play some of it. This beta is really weird. It lets you like fully level up and stuff, and you see that. But it doesn't let you mess with any of the rewards you get. So it's like, oh, cool, you leveled up this suit. It unlocked this and this. But there's no way to equip that or look at what that is. So I don't really have a good idea of what the structure of this game is yet because of that. But Exoprimal is really weird. For people to know, this is the Capcom game about fighting 100 dinosaurs. Is a team.
I mean, you're not wrong, but when you say it like that,
It's every match it's all multiplayer online. Every match is broken into 2 parts. So the first part, you like walk through an area and you fight off waves of dinosaurs as they come in, and you like stop at various points, like, oh, you need to hold this area, something to that effect. And the second half of the match is actually against the other team of players. So sometimes it's like move the payload, like an Overwatch map, and you can
TF2 fans in shambles.
yes, and you can like you just focus on defending your payload or go to the enemy payload and try and get them off theirs, that sort of thing. And you get power ups to summon more dinosaurs against the enemy team. And then there's another weird mode in that second mode where it's like, oh yeah, sometimes it's just about collecting batteries. So really, you should just switch to all like high agility mechs and try and do that. Like run around these levels, picking up the little
And hope that
collectibles.
they don't have even 2 guys who run into you, because that's often how that ends up. I've been like, haha, I'm the fast one. And then just at the last second of I defeated the small mob of enemies to get the battery and I'm now leaving. 2 of their teammates just casually turn the corner and go, you! And just murder my ass.
Yes, that can happen.
Because you're built like tissue when you're the high agility type.
Yeah, some of them are for sure.
They don't even need a super soaker. They just need a spritz bottle and your tissue ass is gone.
I find myself really wishing that they let me choose one or the other mode.
Right, yeah.
Like
Because they are very different gameplay.
Yeah, I don't feel as satisfied when it's like I get half of the time I want in each mode. Because if I just had the whole match was focused on dealing with the other team and running the payload, it would feel more satisfying if that was the bulk of it, and then I'd feel rewarded when I did that well. Whereas it just feels weird and bizarre that these 2 modes are strapped together like so haphazardly.
Yeah, it's sort of that evolution of multiplayer games online we've seen since Halo 2, basically, where it's like, no, you can't create a room that is 1, you can't create a room. 2, you can't create a room that's this gameplay type. We need to find a way to roll you into a full group that's doing whatever we want. And in order to make it fewer bins that people sit in, they just fused these 4 kind of different gameplay modes into one omni mode.
Right. Which is unfortunate. I feel like if they fully invested in either one, this game could have been a lot cooler. because like the first part where you're going through the area kind of feels like Left 4 Dead, but then it's like really tiny map. You only walk a few like street corners and then it's over.
It's barely larger than a chapter of Left 4 Dead. Like, you know how Left 4 Dead levels are cut into chunks where it's like you checkpointed?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's barely larger than one of those chunks.
Yeah, I might even say it's smaller.
From what I played, it felt a little bit longer than that because you're shooting so much for so long. Actual landmass, probably shorter.
Yeah, because you aren't encouraged so frequently to stop in Left 4 Dead and shoot, whereas it's pretty frequent in this.
Yeah, it's really weird that we haven't seen people just make a sane Left 4 Dead like. You know, we had the people who made Left 4 Dead allegedly. Go make that follow-up.
Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood and that terrible asymmetric multiplayer thing, Evolve. Yeah. And it just feels weird. Like, people miss the entire appeal of Left 4 Dead is that it's a co-op thing. And you just go up against AI and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just make good AI, make good dynamic elements.
And like the whole thing with this is the conceit of the game is you're fighting like this evil AI who's trying to make better and better waves of dinosaurs for you to fight that are more difficult. And it seems to have like actual stuff around that of making it better at fighting you guys. But for some reason, that's only like half of each game.
And pretty disconnected from what the plot of the story mode is allegedly going to be, because that's about an island traveling through time.
Something.
Because your dead sister's on it.
I don't know. So yeah, Exoprime is really weird. And
yeah.
I feel like I would absolutely just pick up and play this a lot if it were free to play, and then they could sell me the battle pass and I'd be okay with that or not.
Right.
Whereas now I'm like, it's $60. It's a lot of buy-in for this thing I'm really not sure about.
I could see myself picking it up for 60, but only because this is our job.
Yeah.
Like, if this wasn't our job, I'd be like, not a chance in hell. I'll wait till it's cheaper.
But yeah,
or dead.
Yeah, that's the other fear with LDs. Like, that it's just going to die one day and we'll never be able to play it.
I feel like Capcom has a pretty good track record on that front. I'm trying to think of when's the last time you heard of a Capcom game just getting blinked.
That's true. They usually don't fully shut them down, but it will become very hard to play when no one's playing.
Thanos keeps snapping, but somehow statistically Capcom remains fine. That's very crazy.
I did like some of the new suits I got to play. Is like they had this samurai dude who's a tank. And he can do a cool, like, blocking all the bullets with his sword or you know, T-Rex attacks with his sword, whatever it is. If you block enough, it turns into a giant lightsaber.
Ooh.
And then you do massive damage. It seems completely unbalanced when I was doing team fight stuff. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's fine that just after I do that, I can kill anyone in one hit.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's... I'm trying to think if there's any other really fun suits.
Seeing people ask if Reverse is still online. Yeah, it's still online, but it's only been 7 months. So
right.
We need to give it a little bit more time, even a year.
Right. They're still updating it even, I think. I think they're still like releasing random characters. Like, hey, now you can play as beat up Ada Wong. I'm like, really?
Why do I want that? Please include your signature of your real name at the bottom of this thing where you explain the appeal of a beat up woman to me. Go on. You know, I don't know who I feel worse for. The people who've been trapped in the Reverse mines for as long as they have and are now maintaining it, or the Final Fantasy XI devs that are still working on it 20 years later.
There's probably some weird passion with those Final Fantasy XI devs.
Yeah, almost certainly. Because they just get to do whatever the fuck they want now. Like, they made an entire expansion about this one character.
There's like a thing there to engage with, whereas Reverse, it's... What are you?
Yeah, you don't get to write weird stories. You don't get to do anything interesting. You get to add Ada Wong and bandages.
Ooh. Yeah, the only reason why I brought that up is because it's been so long for Final Fantasy XI. And Final Fantasy XI isn't even Square Enix exclusive crown jewel in the MMO space.
No.
14's over there just fucking DMC troll dancing its way through accolades and
Yeah, but don't worry.
This
Well-
isn't here nor there.
Okay.
They should make your Final Fantasy 14 subscription also be a subscription to Final Fantasy 11, because I would try it if they did that.
let me be clear. If they did that, I would sign up. That's just too good of a deal. I'm like, I did want to play Final Fantasy 11 again before it disappears forever, and everyone wants me to play 14. I guess I'll do it. Here you go.
Yeah, I know 11 had some super freaks. I wonder if they're still there. Like if they're still like going crazy for it. But I know
A lot of them moved on to 14.
back when 14 was new,
Mm-hmm.
those people did not like it at all.
Well, yeah, because it was bad.
Yeah. And I don't know I know that Realm Reborn
Mhm.
got some of those people in, but I have to imagine it wasn't fully.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
I mean, by now, I think a lot of those people have come over.
Maybe.
Because Realm Reborn was just like, you know, you hear people describe a Realm Reborn content nowadays, and they're like, no, that's dog shit now. I'm like, but wait, this was supposed to be, yeah, for the time. So by now, I assume everyone's like, you know, 14 is so much great stuff in it. You know, it's award winning. There's a free demo that I feel like a lot of them are probably converted by now. Probably.
Maybe.
Did you have anything else you want to say about Exoprimal?
Not really. Like I'm hopeful that they'll do another beta or something. Let me actually see how the level up stuff works. It's real weird to just not have any menus to look at in this beta. Just play game.
Hey guys, we played the Diablo IV Beta. Let me preempt this with shit that you shouldn't have to hear, but I'm saying it to just say I told you. So that way I don't have to deal with this on Twitter or in the comments or in personal life or anything else. Hey, I'm here to express my opinion on a game I cared about. That doesn't mean it's going to line up with what you find interesting in the same franchise. And I need you to understand that it's okay that you want to put 200 hours into a game, and they might have geared it a little bit more towards you doing that than me trying to do a simple playthrough. Anyways, hey, Bob.
Hey.
Diablo 4 is, weirdly enough, not... Because a lot of people, I think, who know I don't really love at all Diablo 3, might assume that I would dislike 4 for similar reasons, but I feel like it's completely different reasons. To explain, we played through the beta 3 times, one time as each character. We did one playthrough, the middle one, on the lower difficulty, because there are 2 difficulties, Tier 1, Tier 2. Tier 2 raises the difficulty, gets you more experience, and gets you more loot. So problem number 1, Chris. You know how you say you hate any time a game scales the world to your level?
Come on.
This is the worst it has ever been. Ever.
They started to. That's one of the things they did in like the newest revision of WoW too, when they added the whole you can do any expansion to level up instead of going through it in linear, because it's just like, well, you do this expansion and you go from level 10 to level 50, and then you go into the new expansion, and that just instantly killed. Like that turns the dopamine in my brain off entirely. Like it's over.
So to explain, the structure of Diablo 4 is you basically do your cool intro thing. That's pretty linear. And then you hit the main city, which I'm not going to remember any of the names. Like one of them's Menestad, I think, but that's not the main one. Kjolvashad. Anyways, so you get there and there's some story stuff, but this is only this big. This is for the stream viewer. I'm showing you. This is the secret hole I'm showing only to video watchers. Audio listeners, be jealous. So anyways, Kjolvashad's like this big. The whole game is enormous. This structure, this landmass you can travel to is absolutely enormous. Everywhere in the world scales to your level. And as it turns out, that includes the incredibly linear story content. So we'll go off to a thing. We'll meet a person. They'll be like, oh, we had some travelers pass through here. You have to go down there because that lady's mom was among them. Let's go. And you go into the dungeon, and even the dungeon's level scaling with you. It's like, guys, I didn't go grind so that way this could be just as hard. But here's the worst part. As I said, this is the worst it's ever been. It is harder if you grind. Yeah. We beat the first playthrough. We were leveling properly the whole time. We were engaging with, because when you travel on this giant landmass, there are literal holes in the ground that they just keep calling cellars. And you just go into the cellar and do like a big room full of enemies, just one room. And then it drops a piece of it loot, and then you leave, and they're like, I think they even said like, oh, there are 120 of these in the game on some menu.
Like, who cares?
Ooh, non-secret holes. So we were doing all of those on the entire time, you know? We were just...
Yeah, and events would come up in the main world, like in Destiny. You walk by a thing, and it's like, oh, event, and anyone can join in.
Yeah, and be like, oh, there's a world event. Did that castle you just went through that was completely empty, that left you going, why did they make this? There's nothing in here, is now full of enemies. So turn right back and fight those, what was it, lizardmen or werewolves?
Those were the dudes from Diablo 2 that were goatmen.
Oh, yeah, it was a goatmen. Yeah. I don't fucking know. Hey, Dan, what's the name of this thing? I don't fucking know. What game are we talking? I already forgot its name. D4. But, so we engaged with all of that. In our first playthrough of the game, I think we completely beat, like, Act 1, because all of Act 1's in this. I think we did it by level 18 or 20.
Yeah, we beat it like 19 thereabouts. Like, right about to hit 20.
But we did the last battle in the second to last battle.
Yeah, the really 18. Yes, the really tough battle.
And it kicked the shit out of us. Just absolutely stomped us. We were on tier 2 difficulty. But it just stomped us in a way that didn't make a ton of sense to me. So then we leave and we try to get like it to drop better equipment. And it drops a couple things, and I change my setup. I changed my skill setup multiple times. Keep in mind, this area, it literally will pop up like, this is recommended for level blank. You know, it said 18 plus or something, and we're 18. Anyway, so we leave. We change some equipment stuff. We come back. We can squeeze through and just barely do. And it was like, okay, that was terrible. I don't know why that battle was so hard. It was just abnormally difficult because of certain things about it. For example... This is a battle where some person's mom is tethered to demons. So there are laser tethers tethering all these demons moving around. And those demons would summon magic bullets. And there were several times I'm playing the barbarian. A mistake. It would just spawn all 4 bullets in me and I would just drop dead. Yeah. Full health to dead because they decided to attack. There's no tell on this. It just summoned bullets in me, so I just dropped dead. Later, I do this fight as every other class, and it's way easier because they have ranged options. Anyway, so we beat this, and it was like, man, that was abnormally hard. The entire rest of this playthrough was just kind of bullet spongy, like damage spongy, where we're just hitting even the smallest enemy way too many times. And it's like, I guess that's what we get for playing on this difficulty. We then later on the same difficulty just do the story stuff. Don't do any of the rest of it. And that same boss, we fought it at level 12. And it was drastically easier because the damage didn't scale insanely wrong.
We beat it the first try. We tried that boss fight like 8 times.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 times. It was a ton. We just kept trying over and over. And I'm changing all things in my loadouts and all this other stuff, and nothing's working.
Yeah.
Until we just go, well, let's leave and hope some good loot drops for us. And it wasn't like we were wearing rags. We had some pretty good stuff.
Yeah. But this game blankets you with legendaries, even from the early levels, which is really dumb.
Right. That's the next thing I need to get into. But yeah, the level scaling and stuff, it just doesn't feel good. I don't like that the entire open world is scaled to me. So getting anywhere at any point in time, if you're playing on tier 2 or even tier 1, involves hitting an enemy way too many times.
Yeah, I think what immediately set up red flags was when your brother joined us. He was level 22. We were still like level 12.
10, yeah.
Yeah, 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, this thing's not fighting in this area 22. And we were fighting level 10 stuff.
Yeah, we're all in the same group at the same spot, but it's telling him this area is level 22, and it's telling us this area is level 10. And
he's hitting stuff just as many times. It's like none of the numbers mean anything.
Right. And it's like in a game where I it's a fucking RPG. If I'm leveling up, I want to feel strong. Don't sit there and have pretend numbers. That drives me insane.
Right?
Oh,
Like,
that's
it's
another
an RPG.
reason.
No, it's not.
That's another reason they do that in WoW. Now it's like you can team up with your friends no matter what levels you guys are. And I'm like, well, I like when it used to be when my level 60 friend would just come and nuke shit for me.
Right. That's what people like. I thought.
No. So while I was like, yeah, that's a bit of a red flag, I didn't realize the entire game, including story content, would scale. I would even be more forgiving on this if the story content didn't scale.
Right.
There is no reason I should be grinding in the open world so that way that bitch's mom becomes a mega Chad. And she's just down there and she's like, I've been preparing this spell for 10 hours while they grind. I'm going to summon Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Like, it's terrible and it feels awful and I hate it.
Like, we finally come full circle where after the curse of useless RPG mechanics infected every other game genre, we have now made the RPG mechanics in the RPG not real.
Yes. And it drives me insane. And I understand there are a lot of people who play through Diablo 3 and do, what do they call the levels again?
The Paragon, I think?
Yeah, they do the Paragon levels every season. Every season. And this game seemingly is geared for them. You know, obviously you want the whole open world to be grindable. You want to be able to grind on every enemy everywhere, I guess. So that way you can have some variety in what you're doing. But that makes a normal playthrough absolutely awful. Then there's the loot problem. And this really is as equally frustrating to me. I counted it, okay? We did maybe a 50-minute play session with my brother. And I counted it, and I replaced an important part of my equipment that was highly critical. These weren't dog water items. These were like epics and magics at worst, right? They're way up there. They're at worst blues. I replaced these 9 times in 50 minutes. And that's how fast it's going the whole time. Your equipment's constantly being changed out. So what I experienced playing this beta is they have a system to upgrade your armor. And it's just a mistake. Because no matter what you do that to, you will replace it within 20, 30 minutes.
And it's not cheap to upgrade.
No.
It's a massive amount of money, which maybe that's because the
money doesn't matter.
The money, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's across all characters, too. Like, they just expect you to have infinite money from the one character you've grinded to at level 99.
It's so weird. The money is across, like, the money is account-wide. The amount of potions you have is account-wide. To get more potions that you can use at any point in time, it's like renown. You need to build renown, and you build renown by going to the different regions of the maps as every character, or perhaps beating smaller sellers or whatever. It's account...
You're supposed to have a game you attach the brain disease parts onto. This is all just the brain disease.
This all sounds like modern WoW shit.
That's
like it all
really
sounds
unfortunate.
it all sounds like their mindset. I would be stunned if I didn't play this game at some point and just be like, no, this is just what WoW became.
Where's Diablo IV Classic?
Well, that was Diablo 2. It came out like 18 months ago.
And this really doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but I'm going to throw this out. Almost every enemy in the first act of Diablo 4 is a Diablo 2 enemy. I didn't play the HD remaster. Part of me just goes, was this game in such a rough state? They just brought over all the assets from Diablo 2 HD. Is that what happened? Maybe. I have no idea. So now on to the mildly positives, which is all I'm left with before I dive back into what I hate. This game's plot, broad strokes especially, is much better than Diablo 3's. I know people who've played Diablo 3 enough don't have the fresh pain in their mind of how absolutely awful that story is. But this has a more interesting story with more interesting characters instead of over-relying on past iconic characters and then doing emotional grabs with them. Diablo 4 is like setting up a little bit of new stuff, but it's still based around the Herodrum, and you still have these ideas about sanctuary and other things. And I'm like, this is neat. This is neat. There's some smaller dialogue writing that absolutely sucks. There's some stuff where it's like, this is an emotional moment between her and her mom. And I'm like, yeah, but her mom's Hitler? You just had me read a text log that said she was Hitler, so I'm not really sold. I'm sorry. So, you know, smaller writing has a couple of moments like that. Bigger writing, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Okay, back into what I hate. The Barbarian sucks. The Barbarian sucks.
I have heard. I've seen 3 articles today about the Barbarian getting massive buffs incoming.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
Yeah, no, it's just shit. I played as every character, and I was increasingly flabbergasted as I found out, like, I play as the sorceress, and I'm like, oh man, the Barbarian sucks. Then we do our level 12 run with me as a rogue, and I'm like, this is horse crap.
Yeah, when I played the Barbarian, because I did that last, because that was the least interesting class to me, I didn't realize that it was going to be that bad. Every other character is like, I get to like do all my cool moves really frequently. The Barbarian's like, I have to hit things like 5 times before I can do even one cool move.
And that one cool move is a good crowd control move. Problem, it's no longer a crowd. You had to hit them 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's how every battle goes. So
Also, the Barbarian has the same health as the Rogue.
Yeah,
What?
The stats are so fake, which, by the way, in prior Diablo games, you could put spec points into stats in order to be able to wear equipment. That's gone. The stat points don't fucking matter. A rogue and a barbarian have the same health. This isn't vaguely the same health. Bob had 1 point more than me as a rogue. They just fucked this up. So everyone, like my brother really wants me to get this game. But my brother sends me this thing and he's like, hey, they said the first 25 levels suck as the barbarian, but at level 40, you're going to be able to carry 2 more weapons. To be clear, I'm already carrying 6. So 8 isn't going to fix the character that's broken at 6.
Yeah, I don't know why he needs to carry that many weapons. Like, there's
because
no
they
reason.
could have more effects. The Barbarian only vaguely started to make any sense when the game took pity upon me and started dropping unreasonably good shit. And I mean unreasonably good shit of like one random trinket I got as the Barbarian and no one else got anything this good in all of our playthroughs was, hey, if you get hit and you're not healthy, which healthy means a certain range of your health that's on the upper end, there's a pretty high chance that we'll just pop a bubble that makes you not take damage. So we do a battle and then it would just be like, oh, cool, guys. We're just going to sit in this giant bubble and not take damage. That's... Why... It really felt like at a micro level the Blizzard balancing joke. Oh, this character's a little underpowered. What if we made them an atomic bomb? That one item was the version of that distillation of that notion of just like, okay, well, you know, they balance with a sledgehammer. They sculpted the marble statue with a sledgehammer. I genuinely hated playing this game. I got angrier the more I engaged with it. My expectations were not sky high because prior they made Diablo 3. And for a bit there, I was really sold on for this game. Because once again, the opening's cool. The broad story stuff is really neat. They have an absolutely amazing voice actor for one of the most important characters in it, who we're going to meet up again with in, I believe, Act 2 or 3. There's a lot of cool stuff. The cutscenes look amazing. They run at 35 frames per second. I don't know why specifically 35, but they do. But they look immaculate. They look like if classic era Blizzard CG cutscenes were in real time.
It is kind of crazy like that.
It's amazing. But there's a lot of really neat stuff about the game. But then literally the whole game is a Skinner box, it feels like. I don't normally refer to games as that. Like, I've known people who are like, Pokemon's a Skinner box because you catch Pokemon. And I'm like, I don't agree in the least. But whatever, like, you can have that opinion. I'm fine with that. But this literally feels like it's just intentionally trying to plug into the holes bored through people's brains from years of brain disease end game loops. Like, this is literally engineered for people who have put 400 hours into Diablo 3. Because I don't even think putting that much time in Diablo 2 would make you be like, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, I don't even know if it'll hit those people the same way. Who knows?
Yeah, I can only speak to people I know. Like, I haven't
Right.
been going to forums and being like, what do people online think? Could you imagine how more insane I would be? Look, I had to stop the rant as go, which means I had to stop listening to dumb people on the internet. I'm better now. What got better? So, Bob, I've been dominating this conversation a lot. Would you like to summarize, even just going, that thing he said, I also think, just for your perspective on this? Because I don't need them to be like, Dan hates this game, so it's a dog shit game, which it is. We can represent your experience too, because you also played through 3 characters on 2 different difficulties, and 2 of the runs were very different styles of runs.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because like all those leveling problems basically make the game unplayable. Like, that's what really will just make me not want to pick it up. But I did like the way that like the rogue and the magician played.
Sorceress.
Mage.
Sorcelator. Bob, as we're playing this beta, used every word for a magician except for sorceress or sorcerer.
Yeah,
He's like wizard. But yeah, no, they are cool.
Yeah, it's really,
Those 2 are cool.
yeah, those 2 are really fun to play. They have lots of different options and ways you can build out your skill set. You can actually put points into skills again. There were just certain things. There's like, well, obviously this is better than Diablo 3, and then it just goes into that pit of like all the problems you were talking about.
Right. Which I think would be fine if that's how it acted in a certain mode or like a higher tier difficulty.
Maybe.
If you structured it to have certain difficulty as I play on a normal playthrough, that would be nice.
And a lot of the us playing this game is just going across this big open world they've made. Like, it's literally, you need to go to this town, start walking.
Yeah, even if you know where the waypoints are and unlock them all smartly, it's still a lot of walking. To the point of, it's really weird. You get to the bottom of this dungeon, you know, where you fight Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Mom. And then they're like, okay, well, we need a blessing. It's like, okay, I guess I'll go back to the main hub. You go to the main hub and it's like, go all the way to the northeast. And then you go all the way over there and they're like, great, we have a great quest to get you blessed. Run all around here doing basically nothing but fighting a few enemies along the way. You're literally picking up a totem, putting it down, picking it up, running it away, putting it down, picking it up, running away, putting it down. And since these areas, a lot of them don't really pop for me in the same way Diablo 2 areas did, where they have a distinct sort of different look in each area or vibe, and they're small enough and linear enough where you feel the progression. You just do so much walking in this. So anyways, you get that blessing and then you need to run back to the bottom of that dungeon.
Yeah, walk through the whole dungeon again.
So you have to walk to the city that had the dungeon to walk through the faster path to get to the bottom, but still a lot of walking. It is an absurd amount of walking.
Yeah, it's just weird, and none of it's like procedurally generated, which I was okay with the open world not being that. I was like, well, they're doing a new ID here. That's cool. That could be cool. It didn't turn out cool.
Yeah,
but I thought that when we went to dungeons or anything like that or cellars, they'd be randomly generated. Instead, it's just, that's how it is.
I also thought the cellars would be randomly generated, but hilariously, they're just a big room.
Yes,
every time it seems. Oh man, yeah.
It's frustrating. Like, I wanted to like this game. I really did. I like Diablo.
Yeah, the things they said about it before launch sounded good.
Yeah, they had me signed on to try this new open world setup. It's really unfortunate they screwed it every way they could.
Yeah, at this point, I would much rather just go play Destiny 2 from the ground up.
After playing it, I realized Neo has a structure more similar to Diablo than Diablo does now. Because you can literally just play it through once and then be like, oh, I want to get better gear. switch to the higher difficulty. You get better gear and it's harder.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's simple thoughts.
Here, they're technically giving you more gear, and they say they're giving you more experience, but I feel like we tested that, and they were not giving us more experience.
No, that we actually ended up a higher level on the easy mode playthrough than we did on the tier 2 playthrough.
Which maybe we ran past enough enemies on the third run as the tier 2, but I really doubt it.
It didn't feel like we'd skipped many more enemies.
Because they said it was going to be 20% more experience, which should be impactful enough where even the slightly amount more enemies we just sort of walk past yeah. I wish this game was better. I wish the Barbarian was fixed. I hope they fix the Barbarian, but at the same time, this is a $70 video game. No way. Just no fucking way. Like, I can't. You made an RPG feel bad to level up in.
Yeah, when that second playthrough we did on the same difficulty as the first time, where it was just easier because we didn't engage, was really just sealed the deal for no one should buy this.
Yeah, because I made some tweets, and that was at the end of the first playthrough where I level capped. I got, my Barbarian, the useless fucking dipshit that he is, to level 25. And then we did our other playthroughs, and I'm like, oh, this is not only confirmed everything I disliked about this, it underscored every single thing that I disliked. Where it's just like, oh yeah, that's true, and it's way worse than you thought.
I'm probably still going to play the beta on this weekend just because I want to see all the powers the druid gets.
Yeah, I mean, if they have the additional classes, I would like to at least boot it to see that.
Right.
I only saw one person say it had the additional classes, and then I didn't do further searching to confirm.
I looked up on the internet, and some site said that the two classes would be playable this weekend.
Yeah, so that's Necromancer and Druid.
Yeah.
Something weird, and this really doesn't matter compared to anything else we've brought up. There are ultimates for the classes that you unlock at like level 25, basically. And so many of them are summon a cool thing to attack for you. I'm like, what if I did a cool thing instead? Because I'm a barbarian. It's weird for a barbarian to be like, I summoned the ancients to hit them for me. It's like, couldn't you do like an amazing shockwave or like some amazing thing?
Yeah, I don't know. That's so weird because like the rogue has doing a shadow clone.
Yeah,
which at least that's in the same wheelhouse as what you expect from the rogue.
But you're not controlling the shadow clones, right? You just summon them and they attack.
Yeah.
So it's the same as the sorceress summons a snake and it attacks, and the barbarian summons the ancients and they attack. That was the closest thing to a ranged attack the barbarian got. Which to explain, the barbarian needs to build fury by hitting enemies in order to do any attack. He has like one attack that's a ranged attack, and it's the crowd control thing I was talking about earlier. There are some things like shouts and things that have cooldown and no fury cost, and that's the only things you get to use at the beginning of a battle. So there are often times where I'm like, oh, this enemy will suck to get near, because they might do a thing similar to those enemies where you're fighting Gogeta Mom. Where it just does a ranged attack, and that ranged attack is shooting 3 bullets, and all 3 bullets spawn inside of you, so you nearly die. So I would just start these battles, which didn't warrant it, with my ultimate, which only has a cooldown of like 45 seconds or a minute, which is also kind of weird. Like, it wasn't a huge cooldown, so it also made me more likely to just use it in really dumb situations like that. Anyway.
Oh yeah, another weird thing is that something that Diablo 3 does, like when you get to higher difficulties, is have a bunch of enemies drop a laser that spins in a circle. And we're doing that already, like in Act 1, Tier 2 difficulty.
Yeah.
It seems weird. Like that's a designed to be really annoying attack. You don't need to pull it out in Act 1. I'm sorry. That's something you can at least save for like Act 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's really weird because like the bosses you fight, not a lot of them walk up and just hit you. A lot of them do just seem to have ranged attack or ranged waves or mobs.
Or spawn bullets in you.
That's a ranged attack.
No.
The range was 1 foot. You stood where they were going to summon the bullets. There you go.
But that's all I got to say.
So, Bob, are you picking it up for $70?
No. None of us Steve's does some weird gambit to get most of us to pick it up.
I brought up that it was like $70, and I'm like, that's $10 more than it should be. There are very few games. And then Steve did the same thing Handsome Joe did when I brought up Tears of the Kingdom with 70. He's like, you need $10, man? I'm like, that's not the point. I appreciate their generosity.
Good God.
I should have just looked him in the face and gone, yes. Just give it to me now. I promise I'll get the game.
New rule for everybody, for reality, for the world. If you respond to somebody saying $70 is a lot for a game in any way that's like, well, you don't have $10, you're never allowed to complain about inflation ever. You're never allowed. Well, what does it matter that your favorite things at the grocery store are now $2 more? You need $2?
Right, yeah. Yeah. In the Yeah. So it's really unfortunate that Diablo 4 has countless incredibly powerful deterrents built into it that just ruin it for me. I was really excited for this game. I feel like there's a version of this game where the level scale doesn't work the way it does, and the barbarian is correctly made. Because it seems like every other character in the game might be a ranged character. Like, even in Diablo 2, the druid has boulders and shit he can summon.
Yeah.
So barbarian's the only one who's just, I'm hitting them with my axe. Oh, they spawn bullets. I'm dead.
I don't know how they came to the conclusion of we made him a fully close range character and didn't increase his HP.
Yeah, no,
you were just
they did that wrong.
Like, that's every core class from fantasy has two things that define them.
Mm-hmm.
And the barbarian hits things and high HP.
Yeah.
It's a short list.
Yeah. So it was really strange when I had less HP than Bob. And it feels like also they surface like armor or item level immediately. So like every item you're getting is like, oh, this is item level 184. All these trinkets on your character. Anyway, I'm done talking about Diablo 4. I think I've explained to people why exactly I will not get Diablo 4 unless my brother is just a terrorist from a 1990s Nicolas Cage film. Maybe he's just going to do some unbelievable stunt to get me trapped into buying this game. I gifted it to you on Battle.net. You can do that? Fuck! Play the game, Daniel. And I'm in a well. Can I have my 4090? No. Oh. Come on, man. I guess the last bit I should talk about because it's funny. You know, I was here to tell them what I thought about Diablo 4, so it didn't even occur to me to bring up what I did.
Okay.
So for people who don't know, okay, NVIDIA GeForce drivers have an ability to pretend that your monitor's higher resolution than it is and downscale the game once it renders for that higher resolution to fit on your monitor. So I'm playing on a 1440p monitor. And I tell the driver, pretend it's a 2880p monitor. So it does that. And that's already like really big. It's like, oh, this is good. I like this a lot. Because if you think about it, like 4K is 2160p, right? So that's 2880 is pretty huge already.
Mm-hmm.
And then Diablo 4 has a thing in the menus that says, hey, what resolution scale do you want this to run at? And I went, 200%. So this game that was running at like 140 frames per second and what was already above 4K resolution with no DLSS because it's begging me. It's like, dude, just use the temporal thing. Let me use the tensor cores. And it's shaking. And I'm like, no, that's cheating. That is cheating. You render what I asked you to render. It is crumbling. It is running at 20 frames a second now. And I'm like, now this is Diablo.
Gotta run it at 8K?
My brother's like, what did you do to your rig? And I had to explain it to him, and he's like, "That's deranged. Why are you doing that?" I'm like, because it's funny. I have to, games don't make my 4090 sweat, so I have to invent fun little games to play with my 4090, like run the game at way too high a resolution and then demand it does it even harder. Anyway, and take away its accessibility ramp. Anyway, that's it for the Diablo 4 moment. As far as I know, that's all I played, right?
I think so.
I think that's all. Yeah,
You played some VR stuff, but
yeah, I played Puzzling Places and Runner again. They improved Runner for anyone who hasn't played it. That's the PSVR 2 and MetaQuest Akira bike Uzi simulator, where you go down an anime street on an Akira bike with double Uzis and do. Anyways, amazing arcade-like game. They fixed it so the reloading does not take as long, so that game is instantly much better. Also, I found out the charge shot is overpowered as hell, so I pretty quickly went through 2 more levels of that. That's a really great game, and Puzzling Places still really good. Shock. But that's it. I fucked up my sleep schedule because of Diablo 4. I was playing Diablo 4 till like 7 a.m.
Yeah, it was dangerous.
Yeah, that was a fucking mistake. So that's all I did. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
What else did you play?
Bayonetta Origins Cereza and the Lost Demon came out.
I ain't typing all that.
Yeah, Bayonetta Origins gets the message across.
We're just gonna put that in there. How is Bayonetta Origins?
It did properly pick up from where the demo ended. So the save transferred, everything was fine. Always good when that works.
Yes.
This is still a really neat game. It has more combat than I expected. Like, it starts doing combat encounters more and more frequently, but they're never hard.
So we got to do something.
What's up?
Okay, because here's the thing, and I think I speak for a lot of the listeners and possibly both other co-hosts. Bob, I'm going to ask you one simple question about Bayonetta Origins. What the hell is this game? Give me a fucking genre.
Like on a scale of Bayonetta 3 to folklore.
Okay, ignore him.
Yeah.
This is aggro erasure. I will not stand for it.
One moment erasing aggro.
It is.
Is it like a weird version of Fallen Kingdoms?
I don't know what that is.
That is the GameCube game FromSoft made where like you summon monsters with cards to do your attacks and you have no attacks of your own.
No, because you only have the one monster. It's like an isometric view game
But
where
3D graphics.
with 3D graphics, where you play as Bayonetta and the demon,
Okay.
and you move them each as one stick. So left stick moves Bayonetta.
Oh, it's brothers.
Yes, it's brothers,
It's just brothers.
but it's got like a lot more combat elements to it and a lot more things going on puzzle-wise, I bet.
Okay.
But I'm not sure because I haven't played Brothers.
Brothers didn't seem to have a lot of combat, but so what are the levels then? Are they just combat rooms or puzzles?
It's like a fully you're in the forest of Avalon, so a lot of it is exploring this rather large world, and then sometimes you go into these rifts in space that take you to like either a combat room or like a big puzzle area.
Okay.
Like there's one where you go in and the Cheshire, like the monster, gets in a hamster wheel, and then you stand on top of it and like moving him left and right moves the thing along the track. And you have to dodge stuff with it and like guide it around in various ways.
Okay.
And a lot of them are stuff like that where it's just like they split up and they have different control schemes. You unlock new powers as you go for Cheshire, so he like turns into a wood version of himself and he can do his grappling hook. And that lets you unlock more things in the world because the world's fully explorable, kind of like a Zelda game.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can go back to or areas where I've been to and be like, oh, well, this treasure chest was hidden here, and I can get.
Do you go back to them from a level select, or is this literally like Zelda and you walk there?
You can walk there. You eventually get like I just now like probably 6 hours or more in, they unlocked the fast travel guy. So he can take me to different.
Thank you for the segment, because I literally had no understanding that is what this game would be.
Right?
None. Why would I? It's supposed to be a Bayonetta game, but then it looks like a budget spinoff. But then it's a full price game.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of content here. I have played it a lot, and there's like obviously 4 element to switch between, and I've only unlocked 2.
Okay.
So and it even tells you on the saving screen how far you are through the game, like gives you a percentage. I'm only like, I think it said 40 or maybe 39% through. And I've played for 6 is a low estimate. It's probably more like 8 hours. Like seems big.
Wow. Okay.
It's really neat. It keeps adding new things to the repertoire. You get a skill tree where you can unlock more stuff for Bayonetta and for Cheshire to do, like different combos for like Bayonetta's whole thing in combat. She can't fight, but she can wrap up enemies in a spell. Like you summon like vines and it holds them down. And you get combos off of that. So you like, okay, now when they're tied up like that, if you charge the attack button as Cheshire, he'll do a super move and finish them off. That sort of thing. It's really interesting. I absolutely suggest people try the demo because this game is weird. You've heard me talk about it.
Right.
This isn't like, oh, it obviously fits in this mold of a game.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I just said, it's an open world almost.
Yeah. This is very strange, but I do look forward to Game of the Year where you say, for my number 3 the vegetables hit you.
The story's actually good this time too. Like it's just this really cool, like grim dark story, storybook style tale where she goes in this forest of fairies and the fairies eat children.
You guys want a Bayonetta game that's literally nothing like a Bayonetta game? How can you tell? It can't be completely dissimilar. Well, this story is good. Okay, never mind.
A while ago, I started collecting like saving wisps. They're just like spirits.
They're called Poes, Bob. I'm pretty sure you collect these Poes or something.
No, they're wisp.
The wisp.
Yeah, but they are just ghosts of children who have died here.
Okay.
And you like save them from the monsters that are like tormenting them. And each time you collect one, it gives you a full like description, like it's an Ape Escape game. Like, oh yeah, this is his hobbies, and here's 2 paragraphs written about him. And I guess collecting them will get me more stuff to unlock in the Wisp Town I can go back to, and that's cool. I don't know what they'll give me yet, but I can do that.
Bob, will you understand if I don't play this game?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This isn't for everybody.
I'm upset that they snuck this thing I definitely would have found interesting and cool in the Bayonetta 3 Afterglow. It was just like, God, that's psychotic.
Yeah, and the art's really good.
I bet the team that made this is pissed at the Bayonetta 3 team.
Probably.
I would be. I cannot think of a game that was more commonly lambasted last year for its story. It is a real struggle.
You know why that is, Dan?
Why is that?
You know why Bayonetta 3 got lambasted for its story more than any other game last year?
I feel like I should take off my headphones and walk away before you finish.
Because Elden Ring deleted Horizon from existence.
God damn it! That was somehow.
I mean, he shouldn't say it, but he's right.
Like I said on Twitter that Sony guys came into my replies to cry at me at. They should be real fucking glad nobody got to the end of that game to see what was there.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm sure burning whatever will fix it.
I have this one fear, and right now is the best place to slip this in. I have a fear that Burning Shores is going to lean heavily on silence. Silence?
Yeah.
Because Lance Reddick passed. And they're going to set up something cool for his character and hang the entire next game off of it. And that would be the worst feeling in the world, because you will get to experience the moment of, oh, that would have been amazing. Fuck.
Yeah, that franchise sure lost its best character.
Yeah.
Yep. What a terrible wash of emotions that will be. By the way, I haven't told Bob this yet. I am absolutely playing that DLC. I need to know.
Good
Bob,
for you,
Bob. I
am not. That's why we're not doing it as a channel. Do whatever. I don't want to be. I'm not going to live stream that again.
I I played so much Horizon. I played the VR game. I played the first game. I played its DLC, and I played the second game. I can't not know how Burning Shores goes. So I won't be playing it at launch. I'll probably... Aggro, is your copy physical?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, either I'll be borrowing his copy or PS5. You can try. I just need to know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I need to know. I need to know what nightmare they're going to write that's actually cool. And then it's like, but you can't do that now. God, what a nightmare. Anyways, Bob, you were talking about Bayonetta Origins. Did you have other things you wanted to
Not
share
really.
about that?
It keeps... The art's really cool. It keeps surprising me with new puzzle ideas, which is... It needs to do that for this sort of game. It is a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the music. I think they got, like, for at least for some of it, they got some famous orchestra in Britain or something, like Abbey Road, to do it. It just sounds great. Yeah. That's all we got.
Oh, okay. Skinner. Hey, Aggro. Oh no, maybe Aggro.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you are.
No, we fully deleted him.
What
I
you been
literally missed the foot pedal.
playing? Yeah, for people who don't know, he has push to talk for a bit, thinking it's a foot pedal. Anyways, hey, what you been playing?
There's a lot I haven't been playing because I have just been stuffing Octopath Traveler into my face. I'm currently playing it on remote play on my PC right now.
Jeez.
Damaged.
Are you in a Sony ad?
A little bit. Oh man, I'm beginning to believe that every character's story will involve a critical NPC that is voiced by Richard Epcar.
Oh, I've already run into a few, so I'm not surprised. He can't be a main character anymore, Edgar. I'm sorry. He's
Yeah, no, he's additional voices these days.
He's really cool though.
really obvious.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Isn't Richard Epcar one of the members of Organization 13?
I believe so.
Yeah, he's handsome or something.
Something like that.
He's such a good voice.
He really is. He's the best. He has been forever.
Yeah.
Anything else, Zach?
Yeah, I had two things I wanted to mention about it real quick. One is that the dancer Agnia, I got to her second chapter, and that whole situation dramatically improved.
Ooh,
like very very mild spoilers for chapter 2 of her story. She makes it to the big city and gets a job dancing in a small place. But the guy who manages the big theater comes over and roughs up the joint because there's not room in this town for two places. And everybody's like, oh man, he broke all our shit. We can't compete against a guy like that. And, Agnia's, she basically just stands up and goes, I don't think this motherfucker understands I'm from South Central Georgia. I'm going to go kick this guy's ass. And she does. And it's amazing.
that is amazing.
That's great.
Like, wow, I didn't think Miss I want to bring everyone in the world smiles was just going to go solve this problem directly.
See, if this was Harvestella, we would have the depression theme kick in, and then we would have a talk about how all of us are depressed because the bar is going to shut down and nobody can just kick that guy's ass. He's not a fish person.
I guess that makes sense after the first chapter was, well, she's a dancer, but you also go in the woods to kill a boar.
Yeah, okay.
She's like, I won't let this giant monster boar ruin everyone's good time. And your NPC friend's like, are you fucking stupid? So at about the 30-hour mark, I was doing a little side quest. And I needed to track down an NPC to bring him to another NPC with a path action. And I'd been around this little town like 3 times, and I guess I just kept missing the NPC. So I finally looked it up. I'm like, all right, I need to find such and such in this town. They're like, oh, you're doing this quest. Just go over here. They're in front of this building, and then fast travel back to Winter Spring. or Winterbloom. Gentlemen, that's how I found out you could fast travel in this game.
Aggro, what? I thought he
They
was.
tell you that as soon as he finishes for a chapter.
I thought he was going to say I had it unlocked it, not. I don't know.
Then they told me, look, maybe it's different because I did both chapters as Oswald. I kept thinking, like, wow, I haven't had to grind once in this game. It's because you know how many times I paid for the ferry to get across continents? I am so over leveled right now.
Man,
That's really funny.
I was about to tell him, like, I had a friend who beat the game, said it was like 70 hours long, but he may take less because that friend, you know, he did some extra stuff. And now I'm like, no, he's going to take longer.
I kept doing the math. I'm like, all right, I'll put this character and this character in my party because I'm gonna head north now, and then I'll do this chapter and this chapter. All right, this is great. What the fuck do you mean? I could have just been bouncing around the globe. But I mean, I guess that painlessly set me up to just cruise the rest of this game 4 to 5 levels above everything I need to be.
Man, that must be nice.
Yeah, it's great to play an RPG where the numbers are real.
I'm gonna have to get a thick leather strap to stick in my mouth and chew on while I play through Diablo 4 if Steve fucking air drops one.
I said this while we played Diablo 4. I am just flabbergasted there has not been here's an anime Diablo.
Yeah, I was like, the closest we got was Lost Ark, and it's Korean Diablo, which isn't quite Genshin-y enough.
No. It needs
No.
fully anime characters and then just go hard into... No, just keep leveling up. You'll become a monster.
Don't worry, the what is it, Hoyo people will eventually get around to it.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody call the guys who make Torchlight. Maybe they'll go for the anime.
Yeah, I'm still not. Everyone kept saying, "I'm sorry, you're sad about Diablo 4, Dan. Have you tried Path of Exile or Torchlight?" And I'm like, I spent all my being upset at Diablo-like games for the month. I just don't even want to engage.
Right.
Besides, my back started feeling better-ish, so I was able to do VR again. So fuck all you normal games. I'm going back in the rig. That horror game came out this week. I forgot the name already, but it came out on PSVR 2 this week.
Yeah, the one where you help the girl through the nightmare traps.
She needs to escape the nightmare traps. That looks really cool.
It does look pretty cool.
I want to play that. Anyway. So, Aggro, I hear you grinded in an RPG. Now you're strong.
So, yeah, I accidentally grinded. I also had the quintessential JRPG experience. I unlocked a cool new ability, and its description didn't make any sense. So I looked it up, and it turns out it was just translated wrong.
Really?
What year is it?
Still doing that?
What year is it?
Come on.
It lets you walk on rocks.
Like, it says something about, like, doing powerful magic in additional time, but it turns out it just makes positive status effects last extra turns.
Okay.
How nostalgic.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you play anything else?
No. I'm playing it right now.
I'm fighting even right now. Hey, Chris, what you been playing?
Okay, firstly, I made an important step in my life this week. I got into G Fuel.
I forgot.
Because I was like,
Fuel, man.
because I drink energy drinks like 4 to 5 times a week, and I'm like, these are too fucking expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I should not be spending $15 a week on energy drinks. That's
Mm-hmm.
you know, $800 a year.
You don't have to tell me. I just did my taxes.
I can write these off, right?
So I picked up some G Fuel on their BOGO sale. So I got effectively, 50 cents a serving.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been drinking the Naruto Sage Mode flavor.
Ooh. Oh, that hurt deep inside to listen to.
Which is white pomelo peach.
Does it have any froggy taste to it?
No, it tastes pretty nice actually. Like it is like some of those juice-based low-calorie energy drinks, except not carbonated.
Oh man. This is sort of just here me and Bob are dressed as Sasuke and Naruto playing the Naruto collection thing, drinking our G Fuel, just burying our dignity. God. But it is good.
Yeah, it's good. I also got lemon lime and tried that one because I got it on the buy one get one free, and that's also good.
Does
And
it have a cool character though?
No, it's generic.
Yeah, it's my favorite characters, lemon and lime.
And I have not felt the urge to drink energy drinks.
Oh, that's good.
I also feel like they suppress your appetite a lot more than a normal energy drink does, probably because they have no sugar.
Yeah.
But they also don't seem to have an abundance of artificial sweetener.
Right, because that is one of the things you have to be aware of, is that artificial sweeteners can
because they do
stimulate.
have some calories. They have like 30 calories a serving.
Yeah, so that really is in line with like a Monster Rehab, huh? Chris said this after last week's recordings, and I was like, okay, you check it out. I'll talk to a guy I know about what flavors to order. And then maybe next week I'll order some. That guy was Dr. O. He unironically drinks G Fuel and has opinions.
Well, now I unironically drink G Fuel.
Oh no, it's spreading. I'm gonna show up at Agro's house with a tub of G Fuel. Jesus.
I can't wait until later this year where I have to sign up for their ambassador program and like do the YouTube soy point at like the Final Fantasy VII flavor, the Mako flavor that I'm sure they're gonna come up with.
You don't think we're gonna get a Spider-Man 2 G Fuel?
We could get both.
There was a Venom one, so we'll probably get both.
There you go.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Hell, they might redo the Venom one.
Man, people who were disappointed there weren't enough food categories on Game of the Year are gonna be really sated by this year's
New category, best G Fuel flavor.
Weirdly enough, most contested and angry category I've ever heard Chris and Dan argue in.
So I've been enjoying that, once or twice a day.
And now I'm trying to remember what plutonium is supposed to taste like. Because that's what they should try and make Mako taste like.
You're trying to remember what plutonium tastes like?
It's supposed to taste, because apparently someone did get it in their mouth and they know the taste.
Oh my.
They just say it's supposed to taste like candy.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
I think that's just your teeth rotting.
It's like, what does it taste like? Genshin Impact. No, that's your brain dying.
I got back into Genshin this week. That's another thing I did.
I'm sorry.
Because I had taken like a long period off to play other things because we had to crunch for Game of the Year, and then it was like, well, I don't want to get back in with 3 weeks left on the battle pass.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get any levels with that, so I just won't play it until the next one. And then the next one came, and I started playing it. They added a mode that's Pac-Man. You play Pac-Man, but you're in third person, and they call it like balloon chess, but it's Pac-Man. You run through a maze, dodging like hunter balloons, which are ghosts, and you get power pellets, which make you destroy the hunter balloons.
How is this gaming? Like, what the fuck happened? This is a joke.
And this was one of the event things that they come up with every, constantly.
Right, yeah. I remember when it was photography and cooking.
Well, there was also, it's in the same vein as that weird hide and seek mini game they keep bringing back, or the weird tower defense mini game they keep bringing back.
How is this? Like, I feel like what you're describing should be what Fortnite is. Where it's just like, yeah, I logged into Fortnite, now it's Pac-Man.
Well, they did announce, like, yeah, we're merging Epic with Unreal so you can make insane shit. So I'm sure there
Yes.
will be something like that soon.
Yes, I'm going to talk about that later in the news, but that is interesting, and it really is an Ouroboros where it's like Unreal Editor for Fortnite. What did you fucking?
Oh, that reminds me, I got to give a premonition of the future.
Ooh,
I'm gonna get into Fortnite this year
yeah.
because in December, there's no way they don't do a collaboration with Square Enix and put fucking Cloud into Fortnite.
I mean, they're gonna. Haven't they already?
I don't think no.
They haven't done him
Not-
yet. We got
Okay.
Leon S. Kennedy last week or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that's what makes me think like now they're doing very direct big game coming out. Do collab with big game.
I'm excited for whatever other Street Fighter they put in when that comes out inevitably, because they already have like 4.
Right. I know our viewers have been covered on this. Is Leon still gettable in Fortnite? Is he still in there? Yeah, Bob. They'll put Luke.
Yeah, Luke. Whatever. It's
He somehow will look even weirder.
See, he's good. They're gonna put in Luke, and then we'll be like, oh man, why Luke? And then Bob will like stumble upon the group of all like Floridian military guys who love anime, and they'll be like, yeah, Luke.
Oh
It's
God, I
him.
can smell that.
Let's go play G Fuel and play as Luke.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Bob's like, oh, what
No.
happened? What happened to everything?
That is definitely a gamer subs crowd.
Everyone's saying you could still get Leon. I may be in Fortnite by the time the week's done.
Yeah, see, like Leon isn't for me, but if they put in Cloud or God forbid Sephiroth, which would be even funnier. I think this is why Fortnite cannot be unseated, because everybody has that one character
Mhm.
that they cannot resist seeing them use a gun and do goofy dances.
Right, yeah. Absolutely.
They just need to do that Bleach crossover. Where is it, guys? The anime came back.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Like-
happen.
Like Tim Sweeney's gonna come out at some show and do like a smirk and then show Drizzt to Erden in Fortnite and cause the cultural reset.
And that's it. That's the end. We can just turn off the switch on humanity. Oh man. Also, in addition to exactly what Chris was just saying, I would like to know, Fortnite actually got really, really cool over the years, and the new lighting stuff is amazing. Like the fact it's doing dynamic lighting and all this stuff, and it has cool castles with knights underneath, and vehicles, and all these things that were not there to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
This is a drastically better and cooler game than it was forever ago. And now they have a thing that genuinely makes me go, we play your Fortnite islands. Because they have number codes for these things you make in the Unreal Engine editor, and you could do custom scripts and stuff, and that's just way too funny.
But
Anyway,
going back to Genshin, I got back into Genshin. I finally finished harvesting mushrooms because the character I had been waiting for. Just 1 second.
Sure, yeah. Okay, I got to type in the phrase Genshin Impact, and that's going to take a decent amount of time.
I already downloaded the Fortnite editor myself just because I wanted to see.
Ooh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I should also do that. But I got the character I wanted a while back called Wanderer, which is the name they are using for Scaramouche, who is a character you meet a couple times before they became available to get. And they need they need a mushroom for their ascension, and it's like incredibly difficult to find. I had to look up a YouTube video on like the route to take because it's like the most annoying material in the game to get.
That's crazy because I already had some really annoying materials to get in that game.
But I finally did it and got him to level 90, and he's Magneto. Like his elemental ability is that he can just fucking fly for a set amount of time, and when he's flying, like all his attacks, because he uses the magic catalyst instead of like a weapon,
Okay.
is just him throwing like Nash style sonic booms down at
Oh.
the enemies.
Oh.
And the way wind works in Genshin Impact is not only does it do damage, if they have another elemental effect on them, it does another instance of damage of that elemental effect and also infects other nearby enemies with that elemental effect. So I've just been being like, okay, I'm gonna switch to Mona and have her use her water turret that pulses and gets everybody with water. Then I'm gonna switch to Fischl and have her send out her bird, which shoots lightning at everybody. Then I'm just gonna switch to Wanderer and become Magneto and make everybody fucking electrocute to death, which has been pretty neat. That event that had Pac-Man also had like the worst iteration of the rhythm game that they've done a couple times, though.
How did they make it worse? It
Yeah,
was
like
already
every
real
time I
bad
hear
every
about this, it's like the worst rhythm game.
Well, now it's hard
Oh.
because now the inputs are left, down, right, square, X, circle. But they're all in a straight line, so you have to mentally keep track of which is which. And the notes do not have, and there's like no visual indication on the screen of what you need to be hitting. So it's just incredibly difficult. Like it was just, this is the first time I couldn't just do all the highest level of them. I had to compromise because I'm like, I can't mentally keep track of what's what button.
Aggro, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever played Genshin Impact?
For like 10 minutes once when the
Okay.
PS5 launched.
Okay. I was just curious if you had an opinion on Genshin. It didn't stick with me. Genshin seems really cool, and I love hearing these stories from Chris.
Genshin is like Fortnite in that it's always great when a free-to-play developer respects the social contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is like, you're making billions of dollars. The game should have billions of dollars in it.
Right.
And Genshin Impact does that because like they're constantly being like, here's an event with some insane new gameplay mode. Here's an event with some insane new gameplay mode. Every new country they add has like all new enemies and entirely different and like weird environmental mechanics and puzzles that no other area has. And that I really like. And they also have really high fidelity cutscenes and sometimes in the story.
I have a question to posit, and I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think the fact we haven't seen a third thing as big as Genshin or Fortnite is because of like a lack of talent elsewhere in the industry to do it, or executive meddling? Do you think if given like free reins, more developers could actually successfully leverage into that space? I think when we're really going to be able to tell is when Sony starts doing theirs, because God knows Sony has the money.
Right. I feel like we're just a few years out of everyone. Like Genshin hasn't been there long enough for people to like have the time to develop the mold yet.
Right.
There's a bunch of them announced though. Like there's that one that I think is coming out this year. The Namco Bandai one that Amazon is publishing.
Oh God,
Blue
right.
Protocol, I think is what it's called.
Right, yeah, that. I forgot.
And a couple other companies announced and then there's that Honor of Kings World, which is also obviously supposed to be that.
Yes.
I signed up for the beta for Wuthering Waves, which is also supposed to be that. It's another Chinese developer.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an Arknights one that they announced a while back with like early prototype footage. And I think there was some other like
what if Grand Blue Relink is this? Maybe.
No, I think they've already confirmed that's going to just be like a normal game.
Okay.
And then there's I kind of think this is what Dokev is going to be.
Yeah, if they successfully do what it seems like all of their material seems to want them to do.
If that game is in fact real.
Yeah, that's basically what I was trying to walk around.
But I do think we're going to get this era of like single player super online games where it's like you can do co-op, but it's really more structured like a normal single player game, but with these weird microtransactions and online elements in it.
That's right. The next one of those coming out is Redfall.
See, I was gonna say, you know, like every Assassin's Creed game in the past 5 years, except they won't cost $60. But yeah, I got back into Genshin. I'll probably stay back in for a little while. I also booted Far Cry 5 because of that update.
Oh, right.
I played 90 minutes of Far Cry 5 and went, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
Like I've never played a game that like actively repelled me the way Far Cry 5 did. It was like we have reverse magnetic polarities and I'm just getting pushed away.
Yeah, I spent 18 hours last weekend in that chamber. It's called Diablo 4.
Man, did they really do that? Did Far Cry just keep getting worse?
Yeah.
That seems crazy.
Yeah, no, three, and then 4 are considered the peak, and then 5, and then 6. That's what everyone told me.
I was never a big shooter person, and by the time I got more into shooters, Doom 2016 had come out, and I got more back into like the revival of boomer shooters. So the 90 minutes I played of Far Cry 5, and if I played shooters before, they were third-person shooters. So Far Cry 5 is my first experience with I'm gonna look down the sights. Where'd half the screen go?
It's a gun now.
And I'm like, oh, this is why people hate iron sights. Okay, now I understand. And then I stopped playing the game.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people say Far Cry 6 is better than 5 or Far Cry 6 is good. And that's really weird because I know when it came out, the critical reception did not reflect that in the least.
And then it also sold pretty bad as far as Far Cry's goes, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So here's my theory based on this, the slice of perception of reality. Is Far Cry 6 the Mega Man 10 of its franchise, where it's like, oh, there's good stuff in this. Problem is that all the people who thought this was a neat trick to do this many times got tired one game ago.
Right. Very possible with the Ubisoft formula.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Far Cry 6 was, I feel like, the definition of a 4 because I played it at launch and it broke a lot. So if it didn't do that, then maybe a 5. Like 6 didn't really make me pop off ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I beat the whole game.
I'd like to also add that, like, Dan, when you said that there was this shared energies with Days Gone, I didn't expect you to be right.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the Days Gone one.
Like, I didn't expect that within the first 30 minutes, that guy's like, you just found a prepper stash. They're all over the county, and you can get fucking these. I think I have a picture of the way jars of like metal scrap look. Let me see if I actually did take a screenshot of that, because I believe I did, because they look goofy.
See, Bob, I was going to change Genshin Impact to say Jensen Huang Pact, but then no one knows who Jensen Huang is because they don't follow
This is a fucking 8th gen game that's fucking running on PS, or I played it on Series X.
Okay, let me see real quick. What do we got here? That's amazing. One moment. What is this? This reminds me of something. It's like a sticker wrap that you could put, like it's a skin.
Yeah, it's like
it's a skin.
It's like those apples in Fire Emblem.
I mean, yes, that is the Three Houses apple right there, but it reminds me of like skin mods for controllers and consoles and phones.
Yeah,
it looks really goofy. This game opened.
Let me drop that in so people can see it. One moment. There you guys go.
Like when you go to Bed Bath & Beyond, they've got like a display set up and they've printed out a picture of peppers and put it inside the jar.
Put it inside the jar. Yeah, exactly. It's just a piece of paper that forms a loop. That's incredible.
When you start the game, you have to pick between the male or the female protagonist, and it's like the funniest "there's only two genders" image ever. Where it's like, which cop are you?
One moment. We also have this image. Let me share that real quick. Oh my god. It's funny because it almost reads it, how sassy are you? It doesn't seem to lean as much, like just at a glance, I thought this would select your sassiness. Man, these two should have been edited into the thumbnail, apparently.
But the reason I bounced off is I expected them to set up like more elements of progression, but it doesn't seem like it has that many. Like it doesn't seem like it's a like a Ghost of Tsushima where everything you do feeds in some way into progressing your character, be it like a skill tree or upgrading your stuff, and even Ghost of Tsushima kind of fell off by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, with Far Cry 5, you get a few hours in, and it's like, all right, here's the shop. You're
Few
done.
hours?
Buy all the guns. You're good.
Yeah, see that.
You can
I
now
have to
summon
constant-
helicopters.
I have to constantly be climbing a power mountain in an open world game, or else my bones get hollow and I can't play it anymore.
Chris, it sounds like Diablo 4 might be the game for you. Maybe you should check it out.
I am sitting here thinking maybe when it goes on sale, I'll check out Diablo 3. Because that one will be like $15 instead of $70.
Yeah.
That is horrifying, Dan.
What? Which part?
The part where they're attacking aggro.
That's one interpretation.
He's got radical ideas, and they're just not sure
They
should
take
be.
him away.
They could be protecting him. We don't know.
Maybe.
That is true. He could be the leader in Far Cry 5. Did you play anything else, Chris?
Yes, I played all of Super Mario 3D World because I had to know if it actually was hollow and empty.
Okay.
I still think that game's fine. It's definitely not as good as like Odyssey or Galaxy or 64 though. The 8-way movement hurts it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also it just feels like every time I'm getting into the groove of a level in that game, over.
Yeah, the levels are really short, which is a very new Super Mario Bros. Thing, at least in New Super Mario Bros. 1. Because I've been playing that on the Wii U.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the level length is very short.
Yeah, the level length in Super Mario Bros. 3D World is pretty short. And I feel like despite that, they very rarely reuse mechanics. So it's not even like, it's like, okay, this level has a neat gimmick. It's gone now.
Huh. So it's a reverse Yoshi's Island.
I think that game has neat music and looks very neat, and I think it probably has my favorite before Odyssey, because Odyssey kicked the shit out of every other Mario game in this department.
Yeah.
It had my favorite like climax of a Mario game, because you're climbing the really big skyscraper while Bowser is using all the power-ups against you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Then I played Bowser's Fury because I was playing it on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people speculated this was like Odyssey DLC. They repurposed. No, it wasn't. I can tell by playing it. It's not.
You don't think so?
No, I think what I really think what happened is they got told, we need something else for this game. Make something using 3D World assets. And the people who had made it, well, we had just made Odyssey. So it ended up similar to Odyssey.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me just to be a smaller experiment of what could be the next game or what could be an idea for a thing, and then it just became this small add-on to justify even more people buying an HD port.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly feels like they were trying, like, if you were trying to make like an Odyssey version of New Super Mario Bros. Or Super Mario 3D World, rather, where it's like it's levels instead of these big worlds.
Yeah.
It feels like that. Like I could very easily see it's like, okay, you have an open world map and you go to each of these levels and they have 5 collectibles on them and then you leave.
Yeah.
Which I think would be cool. I'd like a full game of this.
I think it's neat. I expressed my opinion back when I finally played it in prep for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
But, it's been a while.
Yeah,
that was Game of the Year 2021.
Right.
I think it's neat. I don't think it fires on the level like 64 or Galaxy or Odyssey does. So if this was a whole game, I would still feel like it was a downgrade from those.
Well, if it was a full game, it would probably not be beholden to like the mechanics of Super Mario 3D World, which this one is still.
For me, it honestly comes down to I don't like when games try to be like, we need our game to be big and open. Oh, we can't load that. Be water. It's just all water, baby.
Yeah,
it's very Wind Waker in that way.
That sucks. We really fucking need a new Switch so that doesn't have to happen anymore.
We do, and I'm starting to think that's why we haven't gotten a new Mario, is they literally keep doing the numbers and going, we can't do that.
I am curious, like how rough is Tears of the Kingdom going to be in that regard? Because it's half of that game sure seems to be in the sky, where they don't have to render anything that isn't like directly relevant to what you're doing.
And it seems to be indoors in the sky, which is 2 layers removed. I hope Tears of the Kingdom isn't the game that breaks me and makes me hack my Switch so I can overclock it. I hope it's not that. I don't want to do that. I lasted this whole gen without doing that, but since Breath of the Wild never got perfectly stable as far as I know, I'm worried Tears of the Kingdom might be the game that breaks me.
Yeah, it's the Bowser's Fury is annoying. Like, not the game mode hit literally Bowser's Fury.
The mechanic.
That is a lousy mechanic.
I think the kaiju battle aspect is neat, but it really just shouldn't happen on a timer, and also like a big chunk of the cat shine should not be wait for it to happen and stand in front of block. Then move out of the way of fire, and then the fire broke the block.
Yeah, sucks. I remember those being the most annoying shines to get.
Oh, wait, I know how this goes. Somebody's expressing an opinion, and if I disagree, I'm supposed to loudly go, I disagree. I actually have no opinion on this. I don't remember it. I just sort of
and I played
the game.
And I played one last thing. I have finished the Herculean task of playing every Saints Row game.
Congratulations.
Hey.
Congratulations.
I quote unquote death streamed Saints Row 1. It was not a true death stream because I took measures into my hand to not make the stream bad, which was I did all the grinding for respect off the stream, because you can start gaining respect immediately after the first 2 missions. So what I just did was I'm like, okay, I played the first 2 missions. I got all the respect. I saved. Then I booted a new game, did the first 2 missions, then loaded the save where I had all the respect.
This motherfucking cooking showed this shit.
Yes.
But one moment. We already have one made.
Yeah, it's a good thing I did that, because my prediction that this would be the longest Saints Row game, because it was the first one, they're like, we need to be longer, make it really hard to get respect, was entirely true. If you don't know, in Saints Row 1 and 2, there is a currency called respect. You get it from doing side activities, or like side activities. You get it from doing side activities. In Saints Row 2, you also get it from doing various things like driving fast or recklessly doing jumps, killing guys. You still get it from killing guys in Saints Row 1, but you don't get it from any of the other shit. They hadn't included that yet.
They're like tokens.
Yes, Dan. Everything is.
Anyway, in Saints Row 2, not that intrusive a mechanic, because 1, you get it pretty fast. Activities start you off as getting like 1 full bar of respect per level of activity, and it gives you more as you get deeper into each individual activity. And also there's like multipliers with, if you dress very stylishly or buy an expensive car, you get like a multiplier.
Is that how you were dressed? Stylishly?
So in Saints Row 1, you get less than half a level of respect per activity. Also, they don't have any of the fun activities yet, so they're all the bad ones.
It really is the case in the second game. Maybe this thing they do all the time should be fun at all.
Yeah, because in the first game you have sit in a car while an NPC drives around and you shoot guys.
That's never good in a GTA, like ever.
And sometimes you have to get out of the car and shoot guys and then get back in the car.
No, that changes everything.
There is Snatch, where you find a pimp and kill him, and then take the hose back to the guy you're working for. Which also all the activities in Saints Row 1 add some hideous twist like a couple levels in. So I didn't totally complete a single one of those activities at any location. And in Saints Row 2, there's only 2 locations for each activity. In Saints Row 1, there's 4.
More content is better.
So in Snatch, it like level 3 and or sometimes level 4, if you're at one of the easy locations, it goes, well, the pimp is now driving them around in his limo. You have to hunt down his car and shoot it a bunch to make them stop, and then you can take them. Or the activity where it's just drive fast and avoid news trucks because you're driving like a big car. There's a hooker and the client in the back seat, and he doesn't want the news to see him because he's famous.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in that, it's just like, I want to see the river across town. The completion bar will not go up until you get there. Things got so desperate, I had to look up a map of spray paint tagging locations because that was an easier way to get respect to hunt those down. And yes, I put an image of my player character in the Big Think Dimension channel. That is how I dressed, because that is the most stylish outfit I could buy for $10,000 in Saints Row 1.
That's optimal. All right.
That was optimal.
Like it, but this is what peak performance looks like, Bob.
And I did not reveal the secret on the stream, but underneath that outfit, the character is completely covered in tattoos because those also increase your multiplier.
That sure was 2006.
This guy shows up on MTV to show something he knows nothing about.
So your player character in Saints Row 1 doesn't talk, except for 4 lines.
Mm-hmm.
He talks in the final mission of each storyline and once in the final mission. And it makes him come off like the driver.
From Drive?
Yes.
No, the driver from Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, okay.
Because all you do is, like, you don't talk, you just go commit these horrific acts of violence you're told to commit.
Okay, Chris, did you make him look like Mark Zuckerberg on purpose, or is that just how it turns out?
This is chinless behavior.
I made him look like my best friend Cornbread Pockets.
Sorry, Cornbread Pockets.
But other than the fucking obnoxious respect grinding, stunningly solid GTA clone.
Huh.
Like, if you completely ripped out that respect shit, almost as good as 2. Like, I was stunned.
It's weird that they would have a system like that, because GTA had already gone through like 3 mainline 3D games without anything like that. Unless San Andreas had it and I forgot.
No, San Andreas did not have, but this game really loves San Andreas because it does the same, like, territory control shit. That you have to do all of it before it unlocks the final mission.
I never beat San Andreas.
That's why I never beat San Andreas. Even though I really like San Andreas, at the end it's like, take over every district in the first city. And I'm like, no, that's bad. This game is like so much longer than Vice City or GTA 3. Why are you doing this?
I remember when we got that 3-pack remaster thing, Bob was like, something about this is just banged up again. It's so much in just the right way where I really want to play through it. I'm like, you're broken, man.
GTA 3 has a weird spell.
This game also has that spell because it started as a PS2 game and got moved to 360. So it has this really
explains a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, it has this really intense, like, 6.5 gen energy.
Yeah, it's a super PS2 game.
Where it looks nicer than a PS2 game, but it still feels like it has the hollowness of like a PS2 GTA. Or it's like there's not enough people, there's not enough cars. Everything is just undetailed enough to give it this bizarre energy.
Looking at a little bit of you play it, for some reason I just thought of that Coke commercial that was like a GTA knockoff. Like, it hit that same level to me for some reason.
What chat kept saying is like, this is literally looks like a game that would be in a TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it did, because it looks too low budget to be the thing it is purported to be by the things you're doing on the screen. It just looks not done enough and not polished enough visually where it looks like a fake video game. Yeah.
There is some incredibly funny stuff in Saints Row 1, like intentionally funny.
Hmm.
Like when you get to the end of the Vice King storyline, where the evil chick voiced by Mila Kunis, you go up to the office and it's you.
Slow
and
down
it's
one
you.
moment. I just, you
this game-
sucked me.
just like 2, and not so much 3 or 4, but just like 2. There's a bunch of people who are just celebrities doing voices, like like God, what is his name?
Michael Dorn?
The dude who was in Kung Fu.
Oh.
David Carradine.
David Carradine.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the antagonist in one arc. Mila Kunis is the antagonist in one arc. The primary antagonist, who is in one mission to reveal all his machinations, was this entire game. He's Clancy Brown.
Yes, that was very funny. Clancy Brown's a superb voice actor.
The guy, like Benjamin King, Michael Clark Duncan. There's just a lot of characters that are voiced by celebrities in this game. But anyway, Mila Kunis, like, you're with the 2 other biggest badasses in the game. You're with Benjamin King, Michael Clark Duncan, and you're with Johnny Gat. And all 3 of you have assault rifles. And you just come out into her office and she's like, "Oh, you think I'm owned?" And then pulls out her assault rifle, and all 3 of you ventilate her and blast her out the window behind her instantly. And I'm like, what was her plan? What did she intend to do?
That's how the bounce arc should have ended. all of the fucking Sarate shows up with assault rifles.
Yeah, it's instead of Byakuya and Yoruichi doing nothing as they watch Ichigo fight Karya, they just eviscerate him.
Yes. That would be so good. Well, now that that's done.
Just atomized.
Yes.
The car gang in this one is very obviously mocking Fast and the Furious, because the head of the gang is a parody of Vin Diesel. He isn't voiced by Vin Diesel, but he looks he doesn't actually look like Vin Diesel. He looks like Devil's Third Man.
Okay.
Close enough, I guess.
All right. Yeah. That could work.
A thing I really like about this game is it does not have terrible 7th gen bosses. The guy's like, I'm the super badass of this game. Like, I just shot him to death.
Yeah, that's very PS2. That's very PS2 GTA, to just be like, he's a person, shoot him.
Right.
What are you doing? Hit him with your car.
I can't say that it had like an especially great story, because it's just a GTA. Like, it's them ripping off like crime movies and shit.
At the same time, that ending was pretty good. That's
That
how
ending
Lords of
was
Shadow
good.
2 should have ended.
So the end of Saints Row 1, which nothing in Saints Row 1 explains at all, not even a little, is you beat the game. Yes, fucking spoilers for this 16-year-old game.
for this fucking Xenoblade 3, because the text says that.
So you get to the end of the game. Julius, who is Keith David, gets arrested, and the guy who the villain who wants to become mayor has you do a couple things for him. He has you kill the current mayor, who he could not defeat in an election, and then you get pissed and kill the chief of police, who he was acting through. Then you go talk to him on his yacht, and he threatens you for a little while, to which your character's like, "Are we done? I want to go to Wendy's." That's literally what he says. He's like, "Are we done? I want to go to Wendy's." Except he says "freckle bitches," because that's what Wendy's is called in Saints Row.
Flawless.
Then the yacht you're on just explodes. And your character is in a coma for several years between that game and Saints Row 2.
Yeah.
Nothing in the game explains why this happened. Nothing.
It's great. That's what happened.
And it only gets explained in Saints Row 2 if you go digging for optional shit. So what happened is, Keith David's character decided this dude's an unstoppable killing machine. He will never stop, even if I tell him to stop. We won. Because the point is that you form this gang to defeat all the other gangs and end gangs. So he blows you up.
This checks out.
That's why it happens.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The boat just explodes with you on it, and like hard cuts to credits.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. I love that.
That is a very like 80s kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Like we did the final action sequence. Roll credits right now.
Yeah.
It's over. Get out.
They should have had your ass explode, and then it was like he was arrested. Like that one infamous text scroll.
Yes.
That was how Police Story 2 ends, where Jackie Chan just beats the shit out of this dude and it immediately cuts to the credits.
Yeah, it's really common in the 80s for like not even just Chinese ones, like everyone, all sorts of cheap action movies did that.
Yeah, no, it's so smart.
It is.
It is great. It leaves you with the feeling, all right. I mean, hell, we watched that one was Righting Wrongs.
Yeah,
That felt the same way.
yeah, it was great.
No, I think that's it.
Oh, okay.
So I recommend checking that game out. If you want my advice on how to play Saints Row 1, get like 10 levels of respect. Maybe 12 or 13. Do some missions, get a bunch of money, buy the most stylish clothes you can with your war chest. And then try to get the rest, because you really do need that multiplier. It's just excruciating.
Somebody posted the exact text scroll in chat. Mark Collins, age 40, turned himself into the police and is now serving life sentence.
Also, this game has like the worst ammo system of any game I've ever played.
Okay, how can you mess up an ammo system?
All weapons have different ammo, even if they're in the same category.
Okay.
You cannot buy ammo.
What?
If you want ammo, you have to buy the entire gun again. Which is very expensive.
What? Why would you ever do that?
So if you want to use the hand cannon, which I did not use because it was too expensive, you have to buy the $1,200 hand cannon each time you want 12 bullets.
That's really dumb.
I'm out of gas. Gotta buy a new car. God, this is so expensive. Why don't we have public transportation? Oh my god.
It was really funny to get context for characters in Saints Row 2 that they talk about because they were from Saints Row 1 but aren't present. Where it's like, oh, this girl died. It's all this dude Donnie's fault, so you fucking hate him. But then I do it and it's like, Donnie didn't have anything to do with this chick dying. She went undercover in another gang and like repeatedly gave you information only she was there to hear. So it was the villain figures out it was her like effortlessly.
It's her fault for telling us they were making a Star Fox racing game.
And Donnie isn't even involved in her getting killed. Like the villain shoots her, then pushes the car she's in into the river, and he just leaves. He falls out of the story after that. He just gets pissed and leaves after she gets shot. And I'm like, he had no ability to affect this. Like he thought she was already dead when she got shot. But we still gotta hate him. And I'm like, he just seems kind of pathetic. Or Johnny Gat's girlfriend / wife. In the second game, she's in hiding because she faked her death. And I thought that would be more of a story element in 1, but it's just a thing in 1 mission and then she's never in the story again. But that's all I've been playing.
And I mean,
Oh no, is it time?
I think it's time for the Podlords.
Oh, fuck.
See if the Podlords are ready. How we doing, Podlords?
Uh-oh. Oh, fuck.
We're rolling the dice this week.
It's the Bod Lords, fucko.
Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Ted Lasso Wen.
No.
He's coming for you.
Oh, God.
I'm glad you shaved that mustache, and you really were getting Ted Lasso core.
I'm sorry. Blame Mario. Red Blaze 27, Suzushiro, BN12, Shibuya Gato, Rado, 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered, WTF, Spider-Man, Gene Garcia IRL.
That is a lot of unnecessary additional features.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's hideous.
Yeah.
Mr. I Like Spam. Kamiya likes to engage in a little bit of tomfoolery. I don't remember any tomfoolery this week. Did I miss them?
It was just
He made a joke tweet about Bayonetta Origins Cereza fixing Japan's
Birth rate problem?
problem, and then inexplicably a lot of people acted like he was serious and posted articles like Kamiya says something weird. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
Okay, so we agree. All journalists are terminally online. Got it. DFW 3K, which I wanted to show this pretty cat. Look at this
Good
kitty. This is adorable.
nice cat.
Nice cat. 1 second. Nice cat. Me after breaking into the KFC Double Down vault. Ah,
Yeah, that's how that ends up.
that's troubling. Shiny Mew, Kristen, Kyle Bjork. But what if cats? This is a good cat.
QED.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's a good cat. Iron Aggro, Blig the Blue, Schligda's Poo, Monster Hunter Ryzen and Raiden. Got a red dude over here. His iconic line. Cooper Tank.
I can't. No, Xenoblade characters cannot be him.
Leon! No! As you see,
that Leon.
As you see, the AI-written NPCs is a much healthier alternative to hiring writers. Our customers will love the surprise.
Considering how Ubisoft treats their employees, yeah, it probably is a healthier alternative to hiring someone.
I kept drinking the Pepsi, and now I'm not a chop goblin anymore. Indigo Sykes, Drive Typecast. I can't believe Bodlord is making me make this sound. Kabuki Crisp.
That's pretty good.
Evil Lucario. A raccoon hiding in your clothes drawers.
I don't have any food there, man.
You got games on your phone? Just keep running. Just keep smiling. Just keep running. Just keep smiling. Everything is fine.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. If I were to guess, because it looked familiar, some Cartoon Network branding, but I have no idea.
Either that or that game that isn't Astro's Playroom.
It does share vibes with them, that's for sure. Through the power of luck, The Super Mim has become a proud OLED owner.
Yeah.
It's a good ass TV.
Yippee.
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 Now you just need 4 more for the other 3 walls in the roof.
Still thinking about the Leica Dragon cookies. Those are some damn fine looking cookies.
God damn it.
This is a sin.
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Did you notice?
10 years in the
Oh my
joint made you a
God.
fucking cookie.
Sarlene. Timothy Pfister is advising everyone with the Wii U still plugged in to download Zack and Wiki while it's available and $3.
Ooh.
Also, if you ever want to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, download the things that make it run better.
Oh, God. Yeah. God damn it. Bearded Joe. Pleochrome. Krunglespum. What a Thursday. Big Think directly into the immaculate super game of 2023. Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin. Will you be an angel for a helpless Wii U or 3DS game?
No, I like my 1 cup of coffee a day too much.
Camille Badon, when he is on Earth during the events of Char's counterattack and the sky starts falling for a 3rd fucking time.
Isn't he fucking mind broken at that point? I don't think he's fucking
broken during the
noticing.
2nd time, and he noticed. The 3rd time, he's definitely just so
The
tired.
3rd time, he would have stopped that if they didn't.
Ah,
I feel like he's just been building speed for this whole time.
Camille does the fucking backwards long jump.
right? She's just in his room. Camille, you have to stop. And he's like, woo, 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 woo.
Doing the backwards long jump to build speed to just punch Char again.
I can't get the multiplayer games my friends play without further enriching sex pests or oppressive regimes. That's the riddle. This is about as much a riddle as the movie Now You See Me is about magic. Also, are his arms okay?
The riddle is capitalism.
Oh, I can't solve that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one's tough.
It's just an apple bunny. The anime is Bofuri, or I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Thank you very much to our podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, podlords.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcasts. For as little as $5 a month, you get many benefits, such as early access to Chugging Bleach and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts wherein we review 5 or more episodes of Bleach or a Pokemon movie every month. And both those shows will be continuing until the death of the human race. And maybe even after that, considering how far along AI has come and whether or not there's some horrible server hooked to fucking solar power, they can keep running. You also get extended and cut content from our shows when such things exist for you to be given, and a patron exclusive show, 1 a month, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. And if it's a bad thing, you also get a commentary track. And indeed, there is also a commentary track for every cursed content club we've ever done. Not fight clubs, because those don't get commentary tracks. Every cursed content we've ever done. So you have like 70 commentary tracks. You have a bunch.
Yeah, some people just use those as podcasts. They don't even need to watch the movie with them.
Yeah, if you want hear a lot of us groaning, that's the content for you.
Please do not train your AI on us groaning.
This isn't here nor there, but you're gonna want early access to the upcoming Chugging Bleach episode, wherein we review Bleach Movie 2, The Diamond Dust Rebellion, which may be the greatest Chugging Bleach episode ever. But that is patreon.com/gbpodcasts. And if you don't have any money, it always
Go ahead.
And if you don't have any money, it always helps us immensely to rate us on Thursdays before Twitch removes that feature. Rate us on your podcast app of choice right now. Like this video on YouTube right now. And just tell people, because the internet's infinitely dense. That's patreon.com/GB podcasts.
And while we're in the shill segment, I'm going to say a really funny story. When we announced funny to me anyway, when we announced the commentary track for Biodome coming out, I got 2 tweets at the same time. They were quote tweets. One of them is somebody going, "Why would you make a commentary track for a comedy?" And the other one was, "There are 2 assaults in the first 20 minutes of this movie." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Asked and answered.
Right? If only these 2 could unite like Wonder Twin rings. Anyways, patreon.com/GB podcast. We've got news. Wait a minute. I didn't save. One moment. Save. We've got news. We had the State of Unreal, which is like its own little publisher-like E3 panel, but it's exclusively for Epic to talk about Unreal Engine and Unreal Engine related things. For example, random projects that are started on it from newer developers. They help market that a bit. They talk about new features in the engine and a bunch of other stuff. This one had a couple interesting things, but I'm gonna get through it pretty fast, just because a lot of this is, they didn't state overt, palpable, tangible, salient reasons this is an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple things I would categorize as under that. So I don't want to sit here and be like, repeating marketing.
Right.
You know. But we're going to cover them a little bit. So anyways, let's get to it. So they start this off with a showcase of like Unreal Engine 5.2 and its ability to use the chaos physics stuff they have. And I believe Niagara to do particle effects and physics. And now they've gotten to the point of doing it physics for the suspension simulation for a vehicle. So they show a vehicle off-roading through a jungle and show how the entire suspension system's working via the chaos emeralds. And it looks nice and neat. And then they go, and that is not all. We've also been able to, let me get the exact, we also have Substrate, our new materials framework, and they changed the entire texture of the car in a sense, really the material it's based on, from a normal car paint into a more like a bowling ball that has like an opal texture to it.
Right.
The entire car. And they're like, and you can see like mud up on the side of it, and it looks so cool.
It looked pretty cool.
Parts of this are available in 4K, but the whole thing, the whole State of Unreal, is only available in 1080p as a giant stream VOD. This part was available in 4K, but it did look really cool. But part of me is like, okay, now explain why that's better than whatever was there before. And that wasn't really there. They also show their level editor and design tools being more procedural, which I've seen before in other game engines. You know, Horizon has similar tech where it's like, if you move this around, it'll change the terrain to do this sort of thing. And this had that for creating the jungle. And that was a really neat thing. But yet again, I'm left going, I need someone else who has deep familiarity with Unreal Engine to explain why this is good. Not a hype man YouTuber,
right?
Who every time they do a conference just goes, "This is the best thing ever."
But yeah, someone actually on the ground using these tools to be like, this actually works, or this doesn't work at all.
At all. I think we're pretty well past the day of this doesn't work at all, but who knows? Worth noting, this demo runs at 30 frames per second and is running on a 4090.
It looks pretty insane.
It looks real good.
But it better with that.
Yeah. Moving past that, they showcased MetaHuman, which is, for people who don't know, the thing you can use quick tools to make a fully 3D modeled human pretty quickly. They showed MetaHuman using iPhone LiDAR tech to do face capture. I think it's actually, no, it's just the front facing, and I don't know if that uses depth. No, it should have a depth sensor. Anyways, it's using that to do facial mocap for animations, and then they showed that mapped onto a MetaHuman. They did it live on the floor, and it looked pretty refined. I'm used to seeing it live streamed, like specifically the facial cap is being streamed to an animation rig that's animating it as fast as it can to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually seen VTubers use this sort of thing. And it's interesting and it's neat. And it just made me go, man, I want to make the lowest budget like AAA 7th gen game ever. Where it's just a lot of cutscenes with a lot of close-ups. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Atomic Heart. There was a certain quality to the way the faces moved.
Yeah,
That reminded me.
They
was
are like,
also present in the woman on stage.
Yes.
Like she stepped in front of that phone and went immediately dead-eyed and stopped using the muscles in the top half of her face.
isn't she the lead actress for Hellblade?
She looked like her, and I was confused as to whether or not that was the same lady in the video from Hellblade as it is on stage. And it sounded like it from things she was saying, but I wouldn't know. But yeah, she was like, I'm going to go through a range of emotions. I'm angry now. And I'm like, no, you're an 8-year-old smiling now. I don't. What is this? It was neat. It's nothing really important, so I'm gonna move on. Oh, they showed a Hellblade thing where they're like, check out this cool moment where she stares into the camera and does a really gripping performance. That was done on an iPhone. Feel old yet?
It's like, okay, is the game ever coming out?
Yeah, it was just I expected more of a showcase than that from Hellblade 2 because it's been a year and a half since we've heard anything. Right? That was the Game Awards 2021, right?
I think so. I think
Okay.
that's the case.
Yeah. But yeah, this animation stuff is neat. I could totally see myself using it for very specific video production stuff. They announced, yeah, I think this is the most important thing here. Yeah, this is the most important thing here. All the rest of that didn't really matter all that much. Unreal Editor for Fortnite, which allows you basically to better craft islands, I believe they called it, specifically with codes, like they had level codes like it was Mario Maker, for you to jump in and while someone is editing it live, play on a console. So they can script sequences, cutscenes, etc., and you can just jump in on a PS5.
Yeah, and it seems like you even edit together. Which seems crazy.
Yeah, it really seems awesome, and I'm really excited for the future of this. They showed off a few different use cases where you just get to use all the Unreal Engine tools you're used to for animations and other stuff. You get to do cutscenes and stuff. It really seemed like powerful stuff, and I actually am really interested in seeing like what can be done with that.
Yeah, there's even like their own coding language. Like,
yes,
I'm curious how that's going to work.
That falls very directly into the thing I was talking about a moment ago of I need someone who has deep programming language knowledge to explain to me why this is, because I've read their paper. Like they put up on their website various documentation about individual parts of this language. The programming language is called Verse. And the idea of Verse is it is a very powerful scripting language, but they call it a programming language, I believe, for you to script things to happen in their game, in your islands, in Fortnite, to have specific behavior like enemy AI, enemy spawning, all these other things. And they have listed features, and I'm like, okay, that seems cool. Is this worth inventing a whole new language? Like, have you just made this language in such a way that it is safe to run within Fortnite no matter what?
Maybe that's it, yeah.
I assume that is the goal.
Do you think Roblox is just like shitting its pants right now?
I would be if I owned Roblox because it seems like they're coming for their money.
It does. It does feel like, no, we're the guys who make engines. We can do this better than you.
But yeah, there are a couple things with the engine with the programming language Verse that seemed specifically geared at wouldn't make the shit around it crumple if it went tits up. But you know, we'll see. Yeah, there you go. People in chat saying TLDR, Tim Sweeney is obsessed with transactional memory. I guess it's bulletproof to catch exceptions. Yeah, those are the two things I sort of gathered from it, roughly. But once again, I really want to hear someone who knows a lot about programming language, not somebody who's programmed. That's not enough.
No.
You need to have used at least 5 languages for me to be like, what is the deal? You explain how you think this will work. Okay, thank you. But the Unreal Engine thing, Unreal Engine for Fortnite, the Ouroboros that is. And like this other thing, like all of that verse. That's neat. The actual impactful thing that I know people in this exact viewership probably have an opinion on it is they're rolling a ton of things they own into one thing. So the things they have acquired over time, you know, they made the Unreal Marketplace, they acquired Quixel Megascans, they acquired ArtStation, and they acquired Sketchfab. And all of these are like marketplaces for 3D assets and materials and other things that artists have been using for a long time. Unreal Epic, rather, kept acquiring these. And now they're just combining all of them into just one thing called Fab. And while that has a quick and easy way to implement it into Unreal Engine, it also, they specified, is just generalized. It's not exclusively for Unreal Engine, apparently. There have been moves recently from Epic where they've upset artists on ArtStation, where they started training AI tools on their art.
Yeah.
And it's not an opt-in thing, it's an opt-out thing retroactively for however many hundreds of pieces of things you did. It is frustrating, and I have to wonder how this will affect people as a pitch for the idea itself of all of these things being present in one marketplace, you know, one place, one plugin, one source is interesting and I think really valid, but I don't know how people using ArtStation and Sketchfab and all these other things are going to feel about this, and I'm very interested to hear from them. But it seems like powerful stuff. Anyway, that's it for State of Unreal. Sorry it didn't sound more hype. I think it's important to be a little cynical when it comes to this exact sort of thing, because I owned a PS3.
Yeah.
Elden Ring got an update that adds ray tracing. Ooh, that sounds fancy. No, you think less fancy. So it's ray traced ambient occlusion, which I think is valid because bad ambient occlusion pisses me off, and ray traced shadows for foliage.
So it's like Halo Infinite ray tracing. Gotcha.
Yes, actually. It is literally that tier. The shadows for the ray traced foliage shadows look really, really contrasty in a way that's weird. And I hope in the HDR mode it looks right.
I'm kind of curious to check this out. I might go try that. I don't have a character on the PS5 though. I don't think I'll have to make one.
I have a character on the PS5 one. You could play as my cool character that I had to re-roll entirely for the PS4 version. No idea on what the performance that's going to do.
Yeah, but it just makes that game real bad.
I mean, the performance is already bad, so it would just have to make it absolute dog water.
Right.
Oh, I accidentally stole Aggro's news. I didn't see Aggro wrote that in. Whoops.
Like the only other thing about that patch is, you know, the ray tracing, but it's not much ray tracing. So much more important is they apparently completely gutted bleed in PvP. Good. Fuck them.
Whatever. If it's only PvP, I'm fine. Don't do that to the main game.
Yep.
They've done that before. They did that in Dark Souls 2, which I always fucking hated. Just don't do that.
Yeah. That's some Blizzard think there.
Blizzard think? Is that like wrong think?
Yes.
Sea Smash, the spiritual successor to Cosmic Smash for PSVR 2, got a demo today when I don't have time to play it. Thanks, guys. Couldn't be yesterday when I was playing VR. Anyways, the actual final game is going to come out June 23rd this year. I'm very excited for people who have never seen it. It's basically like Breakout, but in 3 dimensions. So it's basically like you're doing squash, I believe was the way people were describing it before.
Yeah.
Or a full room table tennis, if you will.
That's a big thing I came in where you weren't here. I had to explain what squash was, and then most of them were like, yeah, we know what that is. Of course, everyone knows what that is. And I'm like, I didn't know.
Bob, you haven't played squash before with your mates? That's very strange, Bob. Weren't you a part of a YMCA?
Jesus, Bob. Now you're going to tell me you don't know what Foursquare is.
I've heard of Foursquare. I don't know how it's played.
I went to a school that had a Foursquare court, and none of us there knew how to play it.
Yeah, I think that same thing happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was real.
Basically, Foursquare is like picture tennis, but with a dodgeball.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can go to the squares adjacent, right? You can't go diagonally.
Oh God, yeah. I think that I had to play that once.
Mhm.
It was really weird and hard to understand.
Mm-hmm.
I never had enough friends at the same time at that age to be involved in a game like that.
Last bit of news for me. Counter-Strike 2 officially announced with hype trailers that all end with the same montage of an explosion. It's really
Wild.
good. Counter-Strike 2 is going to have volumetric smoke grenades that naturally flow and fill the environment. I was thinking it, so it felt good when I saw, I believe it was Alex Battaglia being like, yeah, it's like 7th gen again.
Yeah.
We're using graphics and physics together to push gameplay ideas.
That looks really cool because you can like grenade away the smoke too. Like they physically react to bullets and explosions. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
It's neat shit.
I
I
saw
felt bad for my first thought being, oh my God, I need this tech in a VTT. So many arguments about how Fog Cloud would expand to fill a space could be solved automatically.
It doesn't come up much on here, but I actually got really into Counter-Strike Source when that came out. So this is the first time I've been excited for Counter-Strike since then.
what about Go?
Go never looked like modern at all. It always looked like this is some dinky old looking thing that looks a little bit better than the Source.
But Bob, it runs at hundreds of frames a second.
Sorry, I need more.
But Bob, it runs at hundreds of frames a second. I know a lot of tech reviewers are excited for Counter-Strike 2 because they could finally stop benchmarking Counter-Strike Go. I know Gamers Nexus will definitely make some sort of joke about it sometime soon on a news roundup because they keep, for years straight now, making jokes about competitive shooters and being like, the 4090 is capable of getting 800 frames per second, which is frankly the only playable level. Pitifully, the 4080 only has 600, which you might as well not even buy it. This is like every review of every CPU and GPU from them. The interesting thing about Counter-Strike 2, aside from the smoke cloud thing, is they're talking about their netcode no longer has ticks. Actions in the game have sub-tick updates. So you shoot and it's going to track, because for people who don't know what a tick rate is you send out packets on a specific cadence. Let's say it was a tick rate of 60 because you're a civilized game and not Splatoon. So you send out every 60th of a second, every frame, you send an update of what your world state is and what you've done to the server. The server will receive these from all the players and it too will run at 60 ticks. Its tick rate will be 60. So 60 times a second, it will update the global state and send it back. Now, you can get fancier than that. You can have the player update more frequently or the server update more frequently or any number of things. But never before have I seen someone be like, we have sub-tick updates. So if you shoot at this exact millisecond, we'll send that out. And I'm like, well, your on-screen illustration there says a fraction of a millisecond. Is it really a fraction of a millisecond? How does this work? Let me know how this works. It's a real shame that the best netcode analyzer in video games got out of the game about 1.5 years ago and has only done one video since. He actually is the inspiration for Button to Pixel.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll come back for this. I know he's more of a Battlefield guy,
I checked
though.
his Discord to see if people were begging him, and no one said anything in months. And I'm like, no,
It's gone.
we need this man to tear this thing apart because he's a network admin, and ISP sort of home internet sort of guy. He works in networking. So he's done a lot of deep cut analysis on packet flow and other things and routers. He's the one who's literally like, if you want a good router for gaming but don't want to spend a lot of money, this is the open source firmware you can install on all of these routers that make it do its job correctly. I need Battle Nonsense to come back. That man, his work is so important, and we need to know what the hell this means.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Valve's not going to tell us any downsides.
No.
They're going to be like, well, it's future tech. It's magic, and it just works. Anyways, that's it for my news. We now move on to Aggro. Hey, Aggro.
Okay, I'm going to start off. We have a public service announcement. It has been legally tested. Saying in Minecraft does not work.
Oh.
Guy down near Daytona Beach posted on 4chan about how maybe we should shoot some sheriff in the head. That sheriff, whoa, what is his name? I have it here in my notes. Sheriff Chitwood. He got famous like a couple of weeks ago for basically calling out all the neo-Nazis that are coming down to Daytona Beach. He's like, nah, fuck y'all. I stand with the Jews. But yeah, some guy said they should shoot him in the head on 4chan, and he got arrested out of his mother's home. Every article I found on it really leaned into arrested out of his mother's home. I was like, oh.
Now, maybe it didn't work because he wrote like, somebody should go to this dude's thing and shoot him in the head graphically, and then he put 2 spaces and then said in Minecraft.
There was a whole line break. Yeah, it was double spaced. There was a period, so we haven't. There are still punctuation avenues. I have a sneaking suspicion
that it's going to come out that had nothing to do with it, and he just had some deranged Twitter account where he was posting the dude's picture and saying he was going to off him.
Yeah, it's always a tip of the iceberg sort of thing on the chans.
Well, you know, guys, it's like a magic spell. You have to pronounce it right. It's Leviosa. Like it is exactly like that. You can't put the double line break. You will break the spell.
God, that is how law works. So moving on from that, you might remember last week. I think it was last week. Might have been 2 weeks ago.
Try
2
not
weeks.
to.
It was 2 weeks ago. The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice came out.
Yeah.
And it did not run well. Well, they have patched it. We have Spacer's Choice patch 1.1.
Ooh.
First came out on PC and PS5, then a few days later hit the Xbox consoles. It reportedly did not work, and the game still runs like shit.
Cool. At least didn't break it, I guess.
Great.
Yeah. This is man, it's too bad the devs are busy making games and not trying to shill out this update because the publisher can't seem to get it working. This is really depressing. I kind of wanted to play that game again.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Moving on.
Uh-huh.
So there's this cat named Kenneth Chan who works at From Software. And because of the modern state of the world, people were creeping his LinkedIn account and have discovered that he has been named the producer of a project at From Software that is not the Elden Ring DLC and is not Armored Core 6 and has been there since January of 2002, which isn't news that FromSoft is making another thing. They said they're making a bunch of stuff. They hired a bunch of people to make a bunch of stuff, but I saw no less than 4 different articles about this, so I figured I'd put it in the news doc. You are now free to go on Twitter and, with absolutely no evidence, declare your absolute surety that Kingsfield 5 is finally going to surface.
Finally.
Wasn't this guy at Sony for a while?
I don't know.
Because I'm looking at his Moby Games thing, and I see a lot of Sony projects.
Look, guys, the important thing is that it's obviously going to be, as they're saying, Eternal Ring 2 or Evergrace 3.
Yeah.
See, I was going to say it's obviously going to be Bloodborne 2.
Entirely possible. No, you're being absurd.
Yeah.
It's Eternal
no
Ring
way.
or Evergrace.
No way.
At this point in my life, I find the notion that they will just make Bloodborne cart completely viable. Like, they will never upgrade Bloodborne for modern consoles. They will never make a sequel. They will spend resources making that fucking kart racer as an own.
And it's VR.
Ooh, spooky.
Well, that's it for the aggro news. I'm racing to talk about something in Bob's news. Hey, Bob, let's talk about that last bullet.
Oh, about Sonic Origins?
Yes.
Plus?
Sonic Origins Plus.
comes out June 23rd. Adds playable Amy. So you can play as Amy now.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't try and do this in anything else, but hey, that's kind of cool.
I mean, they technically did it in Sonic Advance, but
I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah.
But this is classic Amy, so she's got the green shirt and stuff from Sonic CD. And then they're adding Knuckles as playable in Sonic CD.
Okay, that's cool.
It's still fucking Sonic CD, so no thank you.
Right. You can keep him.
I was gonna say it's classic Amy. How do I know she doesn't talk?
They also added 12 Game Gear games to this.
Yeah,
So you get Dr. Block's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Blast, Sonic Chaos, Sonic Drift 2, Sonic Labyrinth, Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, Tails Adventure, and Tails Sky Patrol.
Tails Adventure is the real goat.
Is it explicitly the Game Gear versions?
Yes. These are all the Game Gear
No,
versions.
I'm sorry. The Master System's not real. I just hope this thing fixes the scaling.
I know, right? Like, that's all they
Yeah.
need to do to make me buy in.
Fix the scaling, make
and
the
put
audio
the
work
music in.
correctly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
put the music in.
Yeah, it doesn't mention anything about music coming back.
Or
so-
scaling being fixed.
Yeah, because they don't even perceive those as problems, I guess, because Sega's
Well,
really bad on that angle.
The scaling doesn't seem like the kind of thing they would talk about in like promotion, but a thing I would imagine we find out later. Like, yeah, they fixed it.
Yeah, find out at launch they didn't.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they're going to talk about it in advance, so it literally has to come out for us to know if the core thing they should fucking fix is fixed. Because the PC people fixed it themselves.
Right, of course. That's how that works.
And a reasonable company would look at that and go, maybe we should fix it on everything. But I don't know. It's Sega.
Hopefully, I don't know. I assumed that Headcanon, did they work on the original version, or who was it? I've always
It's that
forget.
other company. I don't think it's headcanon.
Okay, it's the other company, but I imagine they had to be involved in Amy at least, because I can't see Sega themselves being competent enough to put that in.
Right. Yeah, of course. Like, Sega themselves isn't making the shit happen, but Sega themselves gets to set the priorities and the budget and whatever. Also worth noting, part of the upscaling issue is that the entire game, for people who don't know, is a texture on a flat wall in the Hedgehog engine. So the fact they couldn't change the texture filtering to better be for retro gaming is why it looks the way it does. So I don't know. Like, I don't think these guys, maybe they'll be able to retro engineer texture filtering that is correct for what it's trying to do into the Hedgehog engine. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's cool that they did this.
Yeah. It's going to be $40 standalone, or you can do it as a $10 upgrade if you have the original version.
Thank you for the upgrade, but I'm tired of buying a digital copy and then buying a physical copy, and you know that's what you're doing, and you know that's what I'm going to do.
Right. Man, at least at that price point, adding all of these games makes it feel a little bit more okay.
Yeah, absolutely. They added 12 games and $10. So
Right.
it makes the average a lot better than it was before, where it was 4 games and $30. And it wasn't the definitive way to play all of those games.
No, by no means. At least these Game Gear games, hopefully they don't have to edit any music out. Jesus.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But you good for Sonic? Do you have any more to yell at him?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Capcom started doing cool little animations. They teamed up with Nippon Animation to produce children's style anime for RE4 remake.
Which is fantastic.
They are great. There are 3 episodes out. I don't know if there are going to be any more, but those are all spectacular. Go watch them.
They're so fucked up. They're just like straight up Anne of Green Gables looking bullshit.
Yes. Oh, it's fantastic how vintage it looks. And it's just like, hey, old man, can you help us escape? Yes. Chainsaw guy shows up. Oh, no. Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. That's why it's in the thumbnail. It's incredible. It's the smartest marketing campaign Capcom's ever had.
Yeah, Leon dies in horrible ways. It's amazing.
It is.
So EA did this fun little thing they do once in a while.
They're just having a little fun.
Yeah, just
a
a
little
goof.
tomfoolery.
Where
Fuckers.
they hit the delete button over and over again. So come April 28th, Battlefield 1943, Bad Company, and Bad Company 2 will be deleted. Just fully gone from all digital stores. Then later, December 8th, all the online services for those games go down. I can kind of understand 1943. It is a PS3 only game that's just a remake of old maps from 1942. Battlefield Bad Company 2 is on Steam. It's on modern It's on modern PCs. You can just go play that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Ruining
The computer they have that tells them when to shut these things down based on looking at the numbers, said to do it.
Yeah.
I hate these motherfuckers.
And also, the Bad Company has a single player campaign.
Yeah.
So does 2. You can play these games fully offline if you buy them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're just like, no.
No, the new thing at companies is to just destroy crap.
Yeah. No, this sucks. Mirror's Edge was originally in this.
Yeah.
They originally announced they were going to delete Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Because it had leaderboards, I guess.
I guess, as though it needs a reason
Yeah.
for them to decide this. Oh, God. They suck so much.
Yeah, and in this announcement, they also have like the final paragraph in it about, oh man, we really want people to tweet about these and talk about their good memories of all these great games. Like, then
go
why?
fuck yourself.
So you announced a murder and then said, go talk about how much you loved this person before we killed them.
Yeah.
The Joker hanging upside down is just like, Rachel has reached the end of her journey. I would appreciate it, Batman, if you made some tweets about good memories you have. No! What? Reach the end of its journey really pissed me off.
Yeah.
That really, I was pissed from frame 1.
Yeah, this is really upsetting, and they shouldn't do this. It's not okay that they do this. Do they get some tax write-off? Is there even that excuse?
I'm sure they do.
Probably.
The newest meta for corporations is to just generate misery.
It's like it benefits no one. I'm like, are you doing this because you're afraid the Battlefield Bad Company 2 is going to steal sales from your new game? I'm sorry, you need to be better at making Battlefield.
Yeah.
Every time the Fed cranks up the interest rates and these tech companies scream in anguish as they fucking bleed out, I'm like, good.
I guess we should move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So there are a couple interviews with Redfall developers.
Oh, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that game. Finally, some good news. Let's talk about it, Bob.
One of them just said, yeah, we were making a PS5 version until we were bought by Microsoft, and they told us literally to stop making it.
Okay, now I
What?
want to...
No, that's a lie.
I want to say something real quick, okay? All right, I want to say something. Every one of you journalists, everyone online who went, oh, they shouldn't have said that, shut the fuck up. I need them to say that. I need these weird people to just incriminate themselves for seemingly no reason.
I honestly, it comes when because he's having from the Bethesda side.
Right.
I think it really is. They don't care. They have no oversight.
Microsoft, in fact, has a shortage of feedback for the Bethesda side. Yeah, we need more studios to just come out and say, yeah, of course there was a PS5 version of development. Well, the director tried to say something along the lines of, well, it's actually good that we're not making that anymore because Game Pass,
and then we don't have to worry about working on this is for as many platforms. It's like, but this goes against everything that Phil says because, of course, it's like it's supposed to be on everything. We're trying to bring games to the gamers.
Right, yeah, no, everything about the Bethesda exclusivity literally goes against everything Phil keeps saying. So, but anyway, whatever.
So, yeah, I'm glad that they said that.
We got the stupidest fucking lie I've maybe ever heard from a developer. Where the game is always online because they want to collect data to improve accessibility?
Yeah, they were like, we need it for telemetry. And also accessibility. It's like, well, I mean, you know games could do telemetry without forced online, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like this
aware
is
that
last week we got the numbers of like, oh yeah, this many people have died in Elden Ring, and it's like Elden Ring isn't always online. It doesn't require
Yeah,
that.
every game already fucking collects data. That's why you have to sign a fucking EULA,
yeah.
for every single game now. Like you're just lying for no reason.
Like, Jesus, I have a bridge to sell you for accessibility reasons.
I don't know, like, what the game is already effectively online because it's a day one Game Pass game. Nobody's ever going to play it without Game Pass, especially considering it's an arcane immersive sim, which bomb anyway.
It'll be different this time.
I like to believe those do well, because how do they keep coming out if they don't?
Not a single one has ever done well. Not Dishonored, not Prey, not Deathloop.
But yeah, telemetry, you don't have to be always online to collect that. That's insane, and you're making shit up.
Yeah, allegedly they're trying to remove that, but they're not making any promises, so I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, why would any journalist even mention that they're saying we're going to get it working in time? It's like, no, probably not. You don't even sound certain of that.
Right?
I always say when they just repeat PR like that, because it's just like you're letting your viewers believe that they actually think it's a priority and that it will happen.
Right.
Let me be clear. I'll totally eat crow if they make that thing legitimately offline playable by launch, but that has never happened this late in the game. Look at what happened with SimCity.
Look at what happened with the Xbox itself. The Xbox One.
Bob, you can totally use an Xbox offline completely. You just have to connect it to the internet to do anything at all in the first place.
God. But at least the developer himself was like, yeah, we probably won't do it. It'll probably not make launch or anything. Like, it didn't. They made it very clear this wasn't a priority.
Then it's still absolute horse crap to even say that, because you're leading people on.
Yes, that's true.
You're letting people who are gullible believe you mean that, and they're gonna buy it assuming you will definitely do it at some point. But
that's true.
That never has happened.
Yeah. There's
anyway. So that sucks, but I was never not going to play the game online, I don't think. But
I really need the EU, because it won't be the American government. I really need the EU to just be like, all data collection is by default off.
that would be intense.
Yes, please.
Oh, that would be so good.
Great. Yeah, you can go into opt in a menu. Like, you can't have it something you can even opt in at the beginning.
All software must have a mode where it doesn't constantly scrape data from your device. And it's like, that radically changes everything. You realize Windows has been cucked, right?
Yeah, we just see like half the tech companies in the world burst into flames because they don't actually make their money from selling you things. They make the money from selling you.
Yeah. All right, my next thing. Spider-Man 2 actor Tony Todd, who's going to play Venom in the new game, leaked a bunch of stuff of like, hey, apparently the game comes out in September. There's going to be a big marketing push in August.
Now, the funny thing is people already reverse engineered this based on the launch date of the last Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
Well, Spider-Man, because Miles Morales had to wait for the PS5 to come out.
Right.
And the way Insomniac does stuff and the other things that just leaked on the back end. So it's fucking hilarious that he leaked something that everyone already deduced.
Yes. But that's cool. I'm excited for Spider-Man 2.
Did you see the tweet of him underwater?
Yes, he just is like, I was jet lagged, please.
Jet lag. I'm no more talking. My lips are sealed. See, they're underwater. I can't talk. Like, what the hell? Yeah, the game's probably going to be really good.
Yeah.
It's not in Bob's notes, but I'll bring it up because the internet keeps bringing it up. That makes it the same month as Starfield, which people said when Starfield got pushed to that month.
Rip.
Yeah, I don't like.
I mean, they're totally different.
They're completely dissimilar things, but the internet keeps going.
But they're totally different, but they're the same in the sense of like, these are games to appeal to the biggest normies.
These are the two biggest games from each side.
I mean, these are probably outside of Tears of the Kingdom, the two biggest games this year.
Rocco Bodie doesn't know what he's going to do now.
Shambles. The man's in shambles. I assume he's just gonna play Spider-Man and not give a fuck about Starfield. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Either way, Starfield's on Game Pass, so it wasn't gonna get sales anyways.
That's true. It truly doesn't matter.
I can't wait for like 2 weeks after that game launches and Phil Spencer just lies and says it sold more than any Bethesda game ever.
How could you imagine?
Yeah, there's no way. Like,
because he keeps saying he hopes that happens. So I'm assuming he'll just lie, and then the financials will come out and say he was lying 6 months later.
He's saying that he wants it to be their biggest game yet, not to get the most sales, because of Game Pass having 30 million people on it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I can't wait
PC.
to find out that Starfield is Netflix's most watched original content ever.
I'm going to cancel it next month.
Could you imagine things were that deranged over at Xbox? They're like, Grounded is the biggest game ever. It just came out and it's canceled. It's gone. You can't play it 2 months from now. Well, what the fuck are you doing then?
So apparently there's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game in the works based on The Last Ronin, which is a comic line where I guess all the turtles except one die and he's using all their weapons.
Oh.
It's going to be an action RPG inspired by the recent God of War games.
What?
It's a few years off. That could be cool. They also are not talking about who's making it.
What?
So, I have another post from Reddit about a comic book I would like to see made into a video game.
Uh-huh.
Are you the head of like Paramount, like the vice president of Paramount Games?
Bitch, I might be. You don't know. What's their name? What's that person's name, Bob? No, don't look down. Look at the camera. Tell me that person's name.
Look, I didn't write it down. I'm sorry.
This is a Dr. Aggro. This sounds really cool. I hope it's anywhere near as cool as the thing in my head right now.
Right? Like that should be really cool, shouldn't it?
Yes. Yes, it should. God damn it. It's not going to be that cool.
This is a giant budget platinum game that's going to look phenomenal, I'm sure.
Ooh. Could you imagine it's platinum?
That would be cool. Well, does Activision still have? No, they don't, because you can't buy the platinum one anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder even who has the fucking rights.
I don't know if there is an exclusivity thing right now.
Yeah, there might not be.
I think they may do it per project because people figured out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
People figured out somewhere around 8th gen that signing away all the rights to your IP to be adapted countless times by a publisher doesn't always pan out.
Yeah, EA kind of burnt that. They just made sure no one wanted to do that ever again.
I mean, it didn't work great for a number of things, but yeah, the EA one was the absolute worst, where it's like, we turned out 2 Star Wars games.
They were both really bad and no one wanted them.
Fallen Order was fine.
That was before Fallen Order.
They opened it up by then to everyone else? Because I thought that was the last game in the exclusivity.
It might have been the last game in the exclusivity. So it was years of Battlefront 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then a mobile game, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Speaking of Fallen Order,
Uh-huh.
Respawn's opened a new studio in Madison, Wisconsin, led by Ryan Burnett, who worked at Raven Software on like a ton of Call of Duty games and other stuff over there, like Singularity.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I'm like, huh. Raven Software people get to escape? Weird.
That's very strange.
But yeah, he was working on Call of Duty up to Cold War.
He's working on Call of Duty until they shut down everything and made everything work on Call of Duty. He's like, this is stupid. I'm getting out.
And he's still there because I think they said this new Respawn studio would specifically be making more shit for Apex.
The messaging was about Apex and expanding things, but I don't know. Like everything is the Apex universe there or something now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And even still, I'd rather work on Apex than work on Call of Duty for 20 years straight.
Yeah.
You know, even mildly different tasting yogurt. It's meaningful to me. That's cool, though. I'm glad we're getting another Respawn studio because Respawn seems like the only good thing at EA.
Right.
Yeah, it's sure fucked up.
Hey, Chris.
Where should I start? Just at the top?
When's Bat Boy coming out?
May 25th.
Hot damn.
You know what else is coming out May 25th?
What else is coming out May 25th?
Lord of the Rings Gollum.
No,
That game-
God damn it!
That game that they delayed after showing a trailer, which the trailer really had the energy of, we got walking working, guys. Good job. Have you ever seen a game that's going to somehow sell negative copies? Like people are going to shoplift it and then return it?
I think people need to remember this is the first next gen game we saw.
This was announced
sure.
3 years ago. And they
sure-
were like, look at these pictures. It's totally real. Then we saw the game 2.5 years later and we went, no, those pictures weren't real.
I'm sure this will be just as impressive as Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, hopefully. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really going to hold up to all that. It's going to look as good as Fortnite.
There must just be one fucking lunatic who's like, I want a fucking Gollum game. We're making a fucking Gollum game. I don't care if it kills this company, because it's gonna.
They put out a trailer today. I watched it, and then the trailer ended, and it's like, cut to the screen of these two guys, and they're like, yeah, we're going to show you 30 minutes of gameplay of Gollum. And I was like, oh, no, you aren't.
Nice try, Satan. I'm building the mental image of this guy, Chris, and he's at a Barney Hills. He's at a Golden Corral, and the only thing he's gotten from the entire buffet is just mac and cheese. It's just a plate full of mac and cheese. This guy's just eating that. He's like, this is great. And then he starts eating out of a pudding cup with his fingers.
So I'm looking at them. I'm clicking through this gameplay footage. It looks really bad.
Shocking.
It has God of War on PS2 style climbing.
Yeah. All right.
It mostly just seems to be walking.
Ooh, that's that movie.
They God, what is wrong with them? Why make this?
Because every gen needs one. Every gen needs one.
I saw their version of Gandalf and was like, man, that doesn't look done.
Okay, I gotta see that.
Like, no human characters look like fully realized, if you will. It seems like the model's shippable. Put it out.
Yeah, that doesn't look right at all.
I can't tell you what's wrong with it. I can't tell you what's wrong. This is from 2 years ago. This image Gandalf. Is there one moment? Let me see if there's a newer one. I'm just seeing countless images of this 2-year-old Gandalf footage.
It doesn't look any better now.
Okay, I found new footage. Yeah, the game looks bad.
Shock.
Like the thing I'm most thinking of looking through this gameplay is Kingdoms of Amalur.
That's a positive comparison, right?
No. And
Okay.
I almost like Kingdoms of Amalur. I have to include the almost.
Bob, you're getting replaced.
Oh no. I'm so wise now.
They announced an Atelier Ryza anime.
Oh, that's cool.
It'll be bad like every anime based on a game is.
Yeah,
That's sad.
that's unfortunate.
But they announced it that this is the first anime Atelier has gotten since Atelier Eska and Laji back in like 2014,
It'll be
somewhere
really
around there.
funny if it, like, the Tales of Animes has got that the guys who make Demon Slayer, so it just looks insane, but is then still trash.
That would be funny. I don't know if they announced who making it. Maybe they did. Let me check. I didn't even bother to look it up. It's just they just say Aniplex.
Okay, that doesn't tell us
Oh,
much.
production Lidden Films. I don't know what the fuck they've done.
I've
Yeah.
heard of them before, but I don't remember
Let's
offhand what.
see. They have made the 2016 Berserk series. Maybe something newer is more acceptable. A lot of stuff I recognize, but nothing that I know like how the anime was. Was the Tokyo Revengers anime okay?
It didn't look like shit.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Call of the Night, that was popular.
Yeah, that looked good. So maybe this will be fine.
It'll still probably be bad though because it's an anime based on a game.
Probably.
And we talked about this last week, but they announced a new Neptunia game, Neptunia Game Maker R Evolution for PS5, PS4, and Switch. Adult Neptune, that is the Neptune design from Hyperdimension Neptunia, where she has the longer hair and is wearing black. Adult Neptune travels to, or just older Neptune, because she's already a fucking adult. Adult Neptune travels to another dimension where 3 new game goddesses are ruining their countries with their terrible decisions. And these 3 new game goddesses appear to be based on the Atari Jaguar, the 3DO, and the Apple Pippin.
The Apple Pippin?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I only found out about that thing a couple days ago.
Yeah, I was watching the Computer Chronicles, and I'm like, look at the Pippin. People keep trying to say this is a console, Bob. Do not listen to them. This should not qualify.
And this seems to be a normal Neptunia game outside of that. You can ride motorcycles in it. That's cool and new.
Are you in an office? Do I have to buy this game like I said I would last week if you were in a like office?
God,
Let me look at the trailer.
Bob, you're deranged.
There might be an office. I don't think that's where most of the game takes place.
A person in the GigaBoots fan Discord was like, yeah, they have like this many of those Neptunia games. I know because I 100%ed 10 of them.
Jesus.
While the rest of the Discord's like, are you okay, man? I'm like, no, this is good job. That's not easy.
I was weirded out. I looked at some of the screenshots that they put out.
Mm-hmm.
You seem to play as both Neptunia and adult Neptunia. Like they're both in your party.
No, that is the grown version of the fucking Scrunko fairy that's been in all of the games.
What?
What is her name? God. I don't fucking remember her name. It is
People in chat are saying Nepgear.
No, that's the PS that's the Game Gear character. That's Neptune's little sister.
Oh.
There's like a small like Paimon-esque character.
Always is.
God, what is her fucking name?
I don't know, but we should move on.
Yeah, we should move on.
To talk about the Crash MOBA. Jesus. What is the news this week? Stop. Stop it. Give them help.
Oh, Histoire.
Histoire?
Histoire, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
And I think she gets older and turns into like a Neptunia clone. That's what one of the screenshots indicated, I think.
All right.
She got sealed in a book or something. Who cares? I don't play these fucking games. They haven't had a town yet, which is the metric for whether or not I'm going to buy one.
So here's a Crash MOBA.
Yeah, there's a Crash Wumpa League.
Come on.
It's a MOBA. You can tell this shit is dire because there is not a single new asset in the footage. It's all shit from the trilogy and Crash 4.
Yep.
They sure did fire every single person who made those new Crash games, and it's like, but we still need something. Put it on this fucking bad idea we had.
So I hear you can pre-order this $30 MOBA.
Yeah.
It costs money? Oh,
Yeah.
they're so dumb.
Yeah.
If you digitally pre-order this $30 MOBA, you get the early access to the beta in April 20th to 24th.
Oh, wow. I'm totally going to do that.
On 420, absolutely, man. Why wouldn't I be playing the Crash MOBA then? Let's fucking go.
I thought we were past making a MOBA for your IP and thinking that was a good idea.
We're past making a MOBA with an original IP.
Okay.
because they did a ton of those.
Right.
We didn't see too many branded game MOBAs. We saw a
Fair.
few.
Yeah, we just saw a bunch of people make MOBAs and all crash into the wall because they can't compete.
But Crash is too big to fail.
No, not at all.
It's just as big as Pokemon.
No.
You don't think?
I don't think it's as
Yeah,
big as one of the biggest IPs in the world.
Bob, I've seen Tana's model in Crash 4. Let me tell you, there's some pretty big parts about it.
We're definitely gonna get like a small revival of the let's make a MOBA shit because of Pokemon Unite.
We're seeing it right now. I don't know how many more people will jump into this fucking fire.
As we've established, no company can learn from any other company failing. They have to start the exact same project and also fail before they can learn.
Because they're all built different.
So this news really upset me. Atari has acquired Night Dive, and by Atari, I mean the fucking skinwalker wearing their name that has failed in every single thing they've ever attempted in the past several years, and it also has 4 blockchain-related divisions.
God.
I sure hope this somehow goes okay.
It's not gonna. I'm not
I
even
know.
gonna pretend that there's
Yeah.
that's the System Shock thing they're doing. Probably fine. After that, I bet they're dead. Like they're just gonna be meddled with into oblivion.
That's real bad. It's real bad.
I'm so upset.
Night Dive was doing such good work, and it
Mhm.
really does just befuddle me that of all the companies, Atari said, we need to acquire these guys.
It kind of comes off like the founder was like, yeah, I'll fucking take money from anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to wonder if they were
Yeah.
not making money and or
They
if he's
were,
just-
but it sounded more like, no, I want like the big 8-digit payout.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. God. Yeah, that sucks.
I forgot if we talked about it last year, but Atari also acquired Moby Games, so I'm just waiting for them to fuck up Moby Games.
Oh, come on.
But if you want to know how dire the new Atari is, like, you go to their Wikipedia page and just see a wasteland of subsidies of theirs that went bankrupt over the past couple of years. And then you go to their website and I'm like, I can't find a product you make.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can find that new Atari console you inexplicably decided to do that nobody alive bought. To the point I think someone was like, our revenue from hardware was $200,000, meaning we sold like maybe 1,000 of them.
Did Gabriel's Access do a teardown of that? Is that why I've seen that?
I think that's yeah,
Okay.
I think they did that.
So that upset me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft has created an AI software called Ghostwriter to help write NPC dialogue. They have implied it is exclusively going to write like things NPCs yell when you shoot someone in the head in public or whatever.
How is if you're having trouble writing that, you probably don't need the character. I'm sorry.
Bob, you're really coming at this from a quality angle. This is a we don't have to pay the AI thing.
NPCs have to yell something, and in like Watch Dogs 4, when you throw a fucking grenade into a school bus, they have to be like, "Oh my god!" Well, they need an AI, they need a robot to write that for them.
Bob,
Yeah, it's the only way.
Bob, you coming at this from a quality angle makes you a real classist right now, okay? The important thing is how many things we have in the game.
It's literally one person could be hired to write all of these easily.
But we don't have to pay the AI.
I know.
We just have to pay the person who checks that the AI doesn't write something racist.
And we just had to pay to develop the AI.
We just have to pay to like proofread the AI.
No, but I mean that's after launch. After launch, the team that was working on stuff, we don't have to scale up. We just reutilize them to go back and touch up anything the AI might have said.
That was racist.
Aggro, what were the what's the meaning of the words you said in relation to EA? After launch? I'm not sure that such a descriptor can ever apply to Ubisoft ever again.
We'll see if that Assassin's Creed ships by the end of this fucking year, or that Prince of Persia game ever exists, or if Skull and Bones ships.
Did you see that the Ubisoft Twitter account literally responded to this article written about them?
What?
They were like,
so basically,
this
the
needs more
quote
contacts
tweeting
than us, than they provide in this headline.
All right. Some executive was like, do damage control. The guy who runs the Twitter's like, that's not my job.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Dead in 3 years. Here's the good news. Pizza Possum, an arcade action game where you're a greedy possum who loves to eat, was announced. You run around like a town and eat every single thing you can find and try to avoid police.
Sounds great.
Is it fully 3D or is it like a 2D?
It is fully 3D.
Okay.
It's still it has like the camera angle of like Goose Game.
Oh, okay.
But it seems to be actually like an arcade style game where you like get score and move to the next level rather than like a physicsy fun thing like Goose Game was.
This image, this thumbnail for the trailer looks like a shit post. I'm dying. Oh my god. Give this person a fucking raise.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes. I can't fucking. All we need is some other animal to soy checkpoint at him. Oh my god.
Wait, some other people in town are animals too? All right.
Yeah.
God. Put Silly Dillo in there. Banned. User was banned for this comment. Anyways, that's it for the news this week, right? Okay, good.
Yep.
No one announced any more nightmares.
Yeah, there's no more AI announcements from Ubisoft yet.
Bob and we got geared up because we are doing a 3D Zelda celebration, a sort of month that runs in between months, some might say. Tomorrow we are playing Wind Waker HD. That's right, all in one sitting for this death stream that allegedly will take 28 hours, but I'm not buying it, Bob.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I do not believe that is gonna happen. But especially now that we're on the HD version and we get the fast sale, we are going to play the entire game and find out what's with this Aziel's child. Dr. Agro, what do you got going on tomorrow?
I will continue to descend into Octopath Traveler 2.
That's really great. That's awesome. I'm happy for you, man. Are you going to remote play it for no reason in particular? Or is that a podcast special?
Well, I mean, I just, going to do it on my PC because the phone app for that doesn't let you do it full screen anymore. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
That's weird. Huh. Chris, what do you have going on?
At some point, I'm going to do a stream of Agents of Mayhem, which we did not hit that goal because nobody in the history of humanity has ever cared about Agents of Mayhem even once.
Right.
But we will play several hours of it to see what that game is. I really need to know how bad they fucked up.
I swear to God, if I'm conscious, I will be there. Or family dinner and still watching on my phone. One of these two. Who knows? Anyways, that's going to do it for Big Thing to Mention this week. Thank you all for listening. Hello.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Thing to Mention. Big Thing to Mention is only possible thanks to you and your support over at patreon.com/GBPodcast, where you can get all sorts of commentary tracks for all sorts of movies, And also, watch the movie Isolation 119. Today, you can go to sleep, gamers.